All right, how you guys doing?
Hey, this
Oh,
is so
I'm
fun.
excited. I'm so ready for this. So ready
I'm
to
nervous.
die.
I'm scared.
Okay, so you guys ready to start this recap and then the actual adventure?
Yes, I have the volume set and ready to go.
Cool. All right, then let me pull this up here, and we
Oh,
will
just an
crack on.
FYI, I won't probably do any voices or talk much today. I had my wisdom teeth taken out on Friday, and my jaw really hurts.
I
Oh, that's
I ran
bad.
into
no.
you. I am very sorry for your jaw.
I'm so sorry, Justin.
I'll
Been
try
there,
to
done
do
that.
enough voices for the both of us. So.
There you go. That'll work.
Is everybody ready for the recap?
Mm.
Everybody's volume set up.
Yeah, I shouldn't die. I don't think.
All right, here we go. And wouldn't you know it, Sir Hoodwall ended up taking all four ladies to the ball himself.
Sounds like we missed out on a good story.
Oh, don't worry, ma'am. He's just getting started.
Yes, yes. Please join us.
Oh, thank you. I'm Sandra, and this is my daughter Vi. She was so excited to hear your stories when she found out that you were in town.
Is that right? Well, it's very nice to meet you too. So, Vi, what kind of stories would you like to hear? A silly tale, perhaps, of halfling travelers? A tragic romance? Two dwarves destined to love but separated by the gods? Or maybe I could sing a song of the many heroic deeds that took place in the Freedom War.
Well, can you tell me a story about the heroes of Phaendar?
Ooh, I'd like that too.
Vi, I've heard some awful things about Phaendar. I just think it might be too scary.
Mom, I'm 11. Stories don't scare me anymore.
Very well, but if you can't sleep tonight, don't expect to get out of your chores tomorrow.
She's a braver soul than me.
Oh, don't worry. These are heroes we're talking about. There's nothing to be afraid of. Unless you're scared of storms. So, the heroes of Phaendar were traversing the Fengwood forest in search of food for their camp. A dastardly storm loomed above them, threatening to fall at any moment as they scoured the woods. Finally, they arrived at a patch of berry bushes their dwarven camp companion, Kyning, had scouted. But they weren't alone. The group was ambushed by a trio of bramble lashes. The menacing tangle of vines, thorns, and leaves lashed out. Theros summoned a giant centipede into a flanking attack with Volus. With a swift swipe of his scimitar, he vanquished the first bramble. Nyari readied a flask of defoliant and shattered it against the ground, splashing another while Aiden assailed it with arrows, bringing it down. Orin and Nyari swung their weapons at the final bramble, smashing it to bits. And the four gathered their spoils to bring back to camp. However, the storm was unforgiving. Trees were torn asunder, lightning flashed, thunder bellowed as the sky sought the demises of our heroes. Splinters and branches littered the air, nearly striking Aiden. They knew they must find shelter at any cost. They ducked into a den beneath an ancient oak tree, only to discover it was already the home of a massive dire wolverine. The beast roared, outraged at the intruders. A desperate battle ensued, and our heroes reluctantly slew the creature. Once the storm subsided, the group returned to camp. However, they discovered the cowardly Adrian was a Morthuni impostor. That devil had stolen many of their supplies and ran away, tail between his legs like the cowardly dog he was. But that wasn't their only problem. Kyning hadn't reported back from her scouting trip yet, and the survivors were worried. The four followed tracks they assumed were left by Kyning. Along the way, Nyari questioned Oren's motives for his aggravation towards Kyning once more.
Along the way, Nyari's gonna kind of rib on Oren and say, "You know, Oren, I don't know much about this subject, but I've heard people say that when a man and woman act coldly to one another, it actually means that they like each other."
I will kill you.
Eventually, the party stumbled upon a patrol of lizard people, troglodytes. At their feet lay Kyning, bound and unconscious. Aiden cried out as he led the attack. The Trog's giant gecko companion lunged to bite. Nyari brought down her axe to clash with another lizard man. Volus and Theros joined the fray. Oren rushed in to assist, and as the creatures were beaten back, one of them released a bird into the air, and it disappeared into the sky. Nyari slew the gecko in retaliation. Aiden cleaved a Trog, and Volus clawed through the last.
Kyning, are you okay? What happened?
She kind of opens her eyes and she's like taking a moment to gather herself, and she sees you. She kind of looks around. She sees everybody and the fallen captors. She says, "Aye, lassie, I'm all right. Oh, my head. Oh, goodness. These guys, they are coming at me, and they overtook me. The small dwarf legs weren't enough to get away. They seem to be coming from the direction that I was heading, those caves. I think these are probably members of that troglodyte tribe that lives there that you guys were talking about." And then she kind of looks at all four of you, and then she looks at Oren a little bit longer, and she kind of like makes a grunt and whatnot, but then eventually she does kind of force herself into saying, and she says, we have our differences, but thank you for rescuing me."
He'll just look back at her and just also grunt, like, don't make a habit of it. And he'll start marching back to the camp. He's not real psyched to go back to the camp either, but he also really doesn't like the idea of someone dying because we don't have the supplies that we need.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was the start of a great friendship.
Well,
Doubtful.
You can braid each other's beards.
The companions returned to camp. With some of the survivors still on the brink of death due to filth fever, they determined they must find medicine. With that in mind, they made their way to the hermit's cabin that Sir Dehudwal discovered days previously. Hoping to negotiate, they approached the dwelling, but they soon discovered they may have ended up with more than they bargained for.
And you guys come to this clearing, and you see this shack. You see an old lady standing outside, and she looks up. She sees you, and you see her squint, and then like roll her eyes, and then she immediately turns into the cabin and closes the door real quick.
"I'm well aware of why you've come. I had just hoped that the visions would be wrong for once. I suppose there's nothing I can do to make you leave. I'll just get this over with."
One of our companions is very sick, and we were wondering if you might have anything here that might help him recover from this disease that he's fighting.
Once the transaction is done and she's handing off items, she hands off like the anti-plague to you, Nyari. And as you go out to reach it, she like lashes out and grabs your hand and pulls you forward down. And there's like a weird, unnatural strength to her. Like how old she is. Like there's a real strength as she pulls you down to face her, and she looks and squints and peers into your eyes, and she says,
"Your friend's not doing too well, is she?"
and she just lets you go.
What do you mean by that?
Your friend, the other Kellid lady,
How-
not all there.
Can you do something for her?
No, but I could maybe find a way for you to do something for her. Comes at a price, though.
Nyari!
She opens the door real quick. Aiden, you go blind. And she immediately closes the door again.
What do you mean? What is the price?
I have certain abilities to see things, but I can't do it without a certain amount of incense.
He's yelling out now, like, Nyari, like, she's made me blind, like, I can't see. Like, get out of there, kind of thing. He's just yelling.
She then casts silence in the doorway with a 20-foot spread.
Holy cow!
Oh my god. And she looks at you, Nyari, and she says,
You mentioned you had some gems. I could make incense with those with what I have here. I could do a ritual. Maybe divine what course of action you need to take.
Absolutely. Whatever you need me to do, I will do it.
She smiles a wide grin, and she says,
That's good to hear.
Oh, man. What do you have, an infinite supply of friends to do voices for us? Like, what?
Well, I mean, you know, I have a handful. That's thanks to my friend Shang, my little sister Juliana, and Sammy, as usual, for the extra voices this week on the recap.
Well, thank you to each of them again. That was awesome.
He's just picking up random people on the streets, and he's like, "Hey, do you guys want to be famous?"
Hey, you ever voice act before? I've got a gig for you.
This is your shot at showbiz.
This is your shot.
okay,
awesome.
so real quick before we get into all the details, did you guys decide on a final list of things you traded for her? There were 2 anti-plague that you guys said you wanted, or just one or two, something like that.
2. Yeah, I was thinking 2 anti-plague and then a wand of cure light wounds.
I absolutely wanted a wand of cure light wounds, so that was the 100% necessity.
Okay.
Yes.
So the first anti-plague is she traded for the beans and the robe, and then the second anti-plague and the wand would be 800 gold.
Yeah, funny. We don't have that, so we're gonna have to take some items.
For simplicity's sake, just any item that has a monetary value, you can just trade it.
A bottle of fire ward gel.
Sure.
All right,
As long as you can get to 800.
Yep, that would get us to 800.
Okay.
So if I get rid of the bottle of fire ward gel, well, that's the worth. Are you going off of the worth or the sale value?
The sale value.
Shoot. We have a fine woolen cloak, and
we don't need that, so
yeah. So we'll get rid of a. Well, I mean, we have a ton of animal skins. Would she take those?
we have a
If
ton
they
of
have
it.
monetary value.
Was
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
just
they do.
150.
Okay.
Except we can't make water skins if we don't have those. We have a masterwork short bow. That's 165. So we'll go with that.
Yep, that sounds great.
Okay.
I'm in.
As long as you mark that off.
Did you
I
have
think
something
we're
to
good
say,
go then.
Justin?
No, just thought it was funny. Somebody put in the campaign journal, "Who knows what will happen?" Session 11.
Somebody. Gee, I wonder who that was.
Okay,
Wasn't
so
me.
then I wipe out our gold completely.
Sure. Yep.
Goodbye. Okay.
Okay, so you now have those 2 bottles of anti-plague and that 1 wand.
Okay.
And I was gonna retcon more of that conversation, but in the recap, that actually hit most of the things that I wanted to hit. Um, so I don't think there was much in her conversation with Nyari that had to change. The only thing is that the silence spell was actually forced quiet, targeted on Aiden. It was not an area of effect spell because she does not have that spell.
But it doesn't actually change very much. It functionally does the same thing.
Yes.
It makes it so that I cannot make loud noises. I can still talk, and it's just muffled and quiet, like a whispered tone.
Yes. So we will pick up here, and so we'll pick up right at the end of the conversation that Nyari and Veld had. Veld had basically given Nyari details. She said, I can do a ritual for you. In order to do this ritual, I need a certain amount of gems or valuable items equivalent to that I can then use to make an incense. And she would have also added in, this is not something I think she mentioned before, but she would have added in that the more that is provided, the more stable the ritual becomes. And so those are details that we can get to more importantly once, if we decide to do the ritual at some point. But we'll jump in at the end of that conversation, and I'm going to try something interesting here just to see how it works. If it doesn't work, we won't do it again. But I want to, since this is kind of a time sensitive thing, depending on what you guys want to do, I want to see if we can all roll initiative and then go in initiative order to see what people are doing and whatnot, because I'm curious to see how it goes.
And I am no longer blind.
You would be. That's another thing. She, until this is over, she wouldn't dismiss that.
So I'm still blind, and I
Yes.
can't talk, except if I whisper.
Yes.
Great.
Pull out your miming skills.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be tough. At least I get that 20 initiative though. In that favorite terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know what Aiden's gonna do. Who are we waiting on?
Theros.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the initiative.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, my bad.
No, you vibing. We chill.
I forgot to do my little pop outs here for my characters since I have Volus to take care of as well. All right, here we go. Initiative.
Nice.
Perfect.
Oh, I'm not doing anything for a while.
Perfect.
Okay, so we will say that her turn was to open the door and cast Force Quiet on Aiden, and this is right after the conversation has ended with Nyari, so all of the information, the trade has gone down and everything has been finished. So Aiden, what do you do in response to all of this?
I can't see. Am I aware of the fact that she's cast another spell on me?
Yeah, you'd be aware that you are suddenly unable to make loud noises.
All right, so I think he is going to start feeling out and trying to find Theros or Orin or something like that. And he probably is still not yet emotionally able to realize what's happening, so he's probably yelling too loud so that all of his voice is getting cut out by the spell. He's not yet thought to whisper or quiet himself, so he's just yelling inaudible noises trying to get someone's attention and looking all around him. So I guess I'll effectively delay.
Okay.
Question, I think.
And Orin, you're at the back door there. She had locked the door once you had come here, and you heard Aiden was kind of knocking on the door, and he was kind of yelling out, and then suddenly he went quiet. You heard the door open on that side, but you don't see anything because you're at the back of the house here. Are you still staying here in the back, or what are you doing?
Did I hear Aiden making a commotion?
You would have heard him like knocking on the door saying, Nyari, are you all right? And then after that point, he was hit by that quiet spell, so he hasn't been able to make much of a commotion since then.
Oh, then no, I'm just gonna hang out back here then. How
Okay.
would I know?
Okay. And Nyari, what are you doing? She has finished her offer to do this ritual as long as you are able to procure the necessary items. And we can just assume, for simplicity's sake, that she has explained what she needs. You know what she needs. She has opened the door and silenced Aiden to try to, keep things a little quiet here. So what are you doing?
I will rummage through the handy haversack and just kind of like pulling out, like desperately trying to find, any items that would match what she's looking for. And I don't know, do you want me to just whisper those to you, or do you want me to say what I would give to her?
You can just whisper those to me. Bear in mind that whatever you're looking for in the haversack is right at the top. That's the way that the
Right.
handy haversack works. So
Well, she's
anything
like
that's
trying to think of what she wants to even give based off on her request. So she's not even sure really what she's looking for, but I will let you know what I'm going to give you.
Okay. So you are doing that. Whoa.
Cool.
That didn't do it the way that I wanted it to. That's bizarre.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, whatever. And give the initiative back up. So Nyari is pulling out all these things, trying to rummage and whatnot. Theros, what are you doing?
Theros is going to be just watching Aiden, wondering what's going on, trying to make sense of why he's not talking. Like, he doesn't really understand. I wouldn't think he'd understand that he had a spell cast on him, because he was sitting down here before, just having tea, and just heard Aiden shuffling around. Now he just sees him kind of like miming. So he's just thoroughly confused. So he'd probably just say something like to Aiden, like, "Are you all right, my friend? What's going on?" Josh can't say anything. Well, what's he doing, Josh?
He probably like hearing Theros, because he can hear, he can't see. So he's found Theros, so he'll probably like reach out to like try to find him and like probably grab his arm or something like that. And he'll like start pointing towards the shed kind of thing. How do you mime? This lady made it so that I can't talk, and Nyari might be in danger, and I am so mad I can't even think of a coherent sentence. I don't know how you communicate that with a mime, but he tries.
So Theros will like just kind of study or Aiden a little bit more, and kind of pick up a little bit what's going on. He'll just call out, "Oren, there's something wrong with Aiden. He doesn't appear to be able to see or hear. Nyari, what's going on?" I'll just kind of call out to both of them.
Okay. Next up, top of the round. Yeah, like I said, there's no way I'm going to get this voice right, but I'll try it.
Come on, Smogreveld. Don't die on us. You can do it again.
So as Nyari is searching through her bag, Veld looks out the door and she sees that Theros is there. She sees Aiden is there. She hears Theros calling out to somebody else, and she kind of rolls her eyes and she looks over in the direction. She says,
"Oh, well, I suppose this could have gone a little bit better. Here, let's just try for a fresh start here."
And Aiden, roll another will save.
A fresh start. Roll another will save, please. I don't trust you, man. There's no amount of trust. A fresh start is what? I'm dead? Oh, there we go.
Funnily enough, that's not enough.
No way. What is the DC on that? No way.
It's a spell called Forgetful Slumber. and due to certain aspects of her class, the DC for enchantment things is much higher than normal DC.
Because she's actually a witch. Because she legitimately is a witch.
So it was DC 22.
I had to get a nat 20?
Oh, if your will save's that bad, then yeah, probably. So here's what happened.
No, Jason, I'm so mad at you.
I knew you would be. As soon as I looked up what the
so
spell was, I saw it on the sheet here, and I looked it up, and I'm like, oh.
I'm so mad at you. Oh my gosh. Now Josh is mad. Aiden doesn't have a thought, but Josh wants to kill you. Oh man.
So Aiden, you feel this pressure in the back of your skull, and as you're frantically trying to look around, you're frantically trying to speak, you suddenly feel insanely tired. And as this slumber overtakes you, you kind of collapse to the ground and you fall deeply asleep. And
I'm gonna see how my parents are. They're ordering me food. So.
Would Theros have to roll a heal or like spellcraft check to know what his condition was, like if he was asleep or how he just passed out? Is that a thing?
You have spellcraft, yes?
Yes.
You can roll spellcraft to try to identify the spell that she has cast.
But I would be able to identify at least that it's magic that made him pass out.
You'd know by default that she cast a spell, but in order to identify what spell it was, you'd have to make a spellcraft
why
check.
not?
DC is identify a spell as it is being cast. DC 15 plus spell level. So you're not able to identify what the spell is, but you see that she cast a spell, and you're looking down, and with your perception, you would know that he's not dead. He is asleep. You can hear him
snoring.
Yeah, snoring vigorously.
Aiden doesn't snore is the thing, though. So I don't know about that. That's why it stood out to him as weird.
Aiden doesn't think he snores, but he does.
Maybe understand.
Aiden is a master of stealth and sleeping quietly in the Fang, but master of stealth. MOS. Most stealthy. Trust me.
And then as she casts this spell, Veld kind of like takes a step up to him, and as for the rest of her turn, she just looks over at you, Theros, and says, yeah, you can wake him up if you want. At this point, it's fine. I don't know what he's gonna do when he wakes up. Hopefully, he won't remember any of this, but we'll see. And that's her turn. And Aiden, you're asleep. Oren, you're up. You heard Theros yelling out at you that something was wrong with Aiden.
Can I roll a perception check on my turn to see if I hear her say that hopefully he'll forget? That sounds totally within the realms of the action economy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Since we're in initiative order, is movement speed a factor right
Yes.
now? Alright, so I'll just double move over here and that'll be my turn.
Okay. You start moving over, and at this point you get like around the trunk of that tree, and you can kind of see.
Oh wait, sorry, I can move further. Hang on, sorry.
Ever since you got those boots,
Yeah,
striding.
those boots. Yeah,
right.
boy.
Bounding
So actually,
over.
Fancy new
actually make
kicks.
it all the way over. Yeah, I can't say anything because that's my turn, but
Yeah, so you get over there, and you can see that Veld is just outside her door, and Aiden is on the ground, and Theros is kind of standing there amidst all of this confusion. Nyari, back to you. What's up?
So I think at this point she's given the stuff to Veld, and she's like, "What did you do to him? Did you hurt him?"
Okay, so
And
you
that's all
have
she's doing.
you have put the things on the table there in her shack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Theros, is there anything that you're doing?
I would more or less concur with Nyari's logic at that point, just asking Veld, what's going on? What happened? Did you do this to him?
Okay. And Veld will respond. She says, yeah, sorry about that. I'm not used to people, and he was being very loud, so I might have jumped into action there a little bit too quick. But yeah, he's fine. He's just asleep. He's not gonna remember any of this, so nothing to worry about. She then steps back in and starts looking at the stuff that was put on the table.
I wrote stuff, Jace. I prepped for this ahead of time. Ah!
I'm sure you did.
I have a whole thing I was gonna say to.
Well, it may still come up. Who knows? So she will gather all of the items that have been passed over there, and I'm looking. Okay, and she will gather all those items, and she will start to like put them into like a bowl and start like grinding them into like a usable substance that she can then make into an incense. Aiden, you are still asleep. You have not been woken up yet.
I say,
Oren,
do I get? Is that just a regular sleep? Like I don't get like consecutive saves to wake up or anything like that?
it does not appear so.
Okay.
No. Oren, it is your turn. Again, you heard Veld say that he's just asleep and all of that. What do you do?
I'll just walk over and nudge him, try and wake him up.
Okay. You go over there and you kind of shake him a little bit, and he does wake up.
What's the last thing I remember?
So you remember walking and with everybody else, you were walking through the forest and you were making your way to the hermit's shack. But the last 5 minutes of your memory are a haze. I will say that you feel like something is off, like something happened, and you were distressed for some reason, but you have no idea why. You wake up and you're able to see. The forced quiet is still in effect. That is not a dismissible spell. So you're still not able to like shout or yell or anything, but you wake up, you can't remember the last couple minutes, and you can see. So it's weird. And as far as you're concerned, it's like you were walking on the way here, and then all of a sudden it's like you blacked out and you woke up and you're just kind of like in front of the shack. And that's kind of where you're at mentally.
All right. So he's gonna reach out, and as soon as he's awoken, he's gonna go for his weapon and like also use his other hand to like grab Oren's arm as he's like, Oren, what happened? I'm missing time. And he's trying to like piece like his last thought to like where he is now, and he's looking all around and trying to make sense of what's up.
Yeah, and I heard, is it, what's her name? Veld. So
Yep.
I heard her explain that she's the one that put him to sleep, right?
Yeah, you heard her basically say, yeah, he's fine, he's just asleep. Hopefully he'll calm down a bit when he wakes up, something like that.
Okay, so I'll just be like, you know, the old lady, she put you to sleep for you being too loud. Oren finds it kind of comical.
Oh man. He probably like shouts something that's actually inaudible because he's mad of being accused of being too loud and like not listened to. And that's probably it for this. If we're still in initiative, that's all he could get out.
Okay. I think at this point we can drop out of initiative. I just wanted to see how things would work out in the time-sensitive part there. Yeah, dropping out of initiative, basically what happens is Veld will continue to kind of make this incense that she has, but that is going to take up quite a lot of time. So what do the rest of you do? Like Nyari, what do you do after this? Do you go outside or do you stay in there with Veld, what's everybody thinking they're doing?
Did she tell me how long it was going to take?
Yeah, she would have told you. Creating the incense is going to take a couple minutes because she has to take what are essentially gems and she has to break them down, and then she has to mix them with some of the ingredients that she has and create an incense out of them.
Yeah, so Nyari will kind of step up, and she's still keeping an eye on Veld and what she's doing, but she'll say, Aiden, you are getting very upset, and everything is fine. There's nothing that you need to be worried about. I'm sorry for what she did to you, but we need not fear her. She is not our enemy.
What did she do, Nyari?
We were just bartering. I was able to procure some items that will help us out immensely. And because our negotiations were a little quiet, you seemed to get quite upset. But nothing happened that was bad. This is all good for us.
Nyari, I've said it before, and it's still true. I will trust you. I know you won't do anything to bring us harm. But I wonder. I can't remember what happened, Nyari. I do not like that feeling.
I understand. I
He's
know that
walking
it's
away.
uncomfortable. She'll just trail off as he just turns away and walks away.
And he's gonna go probably sit on that stump and try to piece together as much as he can what happened.
Veld, is it best for us to stick around, or is this something that you would need me to come back for?
Yeah, I'm gonna need you in a couple minutes here. I'm gonna need some of your blood for the incense, but that can wait a couple minutes if you have things you need to talk about.
Is there anything that you need to have done around here while we're waiting?
Yeah, actually, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's some wood out there that needs to be split. The roof is peeling a little bit. If you could maybe go over there and tend to the garden a little bit, that'd be a lot of help, actually. And she just basically gives you a number of
Chores.
like a list of tasks that are just like manual labor stuff. And then she says, "Yeah, if you're able to get all that done, I'll give you some. I'll give you some food and stuff because I know that's what you came for."
So Nyari will relay that to the others and say, listen, part of our negotiations was if we were to help her out with some of the work that needs to be done around here, so that she would give us additional supplies that we can take back to the camp. And I figured, our time and effort was worth what we could take back to the camp. So, and she'll list off the things that Veld kind of told her, and then she'll probably go over and start, splitting logs or something.
Before she moves away, like Theros will just kind of like touch her shoulder for a moment to keep her from passing and lean in and say, "Did she ask for your blood? Why is she asking for your blood?"
It's nothing. It's fine. It was, you don't need to worry about it. It's fine. I have it under control. And she'll just kind of smile and walk away.
Theros, being non-confrontational, will still be not accept that answer, but he will let her go.
Okay. So do all of you start doing these tasks that Nyari mentioned, or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess Orin will grunt and go work on a roof, I guess.
Or not. Is the door open?
No, she closed it once Nyari left.
Just rude.
Wait, Thorin is going to work on the roof. The short guy is going to work on the roof.
Well, I didn't think he'd be much help in a garden.
He has boots of springing. I'm sure he can
Yeah.
just like jump and he's up on top of the roof.
Right? I
I
got
don't
fancy
think that's
shoes,
actually what they do,
okay?
but
I have fancy shoes. I mean, I do get an acrobatics thing. Boost.
oh, do you?
Yeah, you get a
Awesome.
competency. I mean, it took me from -6 to -1, but
Nice.
So you can try to get up on the roof,
yeah.
but
I think I'll just take my time. I don't think I need to do anything fancy to get up there.
Theros is a druid, obviously gardening his forte.
Yeah,
so
that's what my thoughts were. I was like, well, we got
that
a
makes
druid. I
sense.
think I'll leave the gardening to him, and I'll work on the roof, I guess.
So I'm going to go and act as if I'm about to start one of the items on the task. But then as people start pulling away, then assume that they begin spacing themselves away from the cabin a little bit to do some of the chores that are out and around the property. Aiden's going to walk over to the door
Okay.
and try it. Does it unlock? Is it locked?
She did not lock it. No.
Okay.
Also, I'm going to stomp really heavily when I'm walking on the roof.
how rude.
She's rude.
She
Shouldn't
takes
like
a
lads.
broom and like hits the ceiling.
So he probably doesn't even remember her name, right? Except that Duhudwal told him.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you know that.
Old lady.
He's gonna slowly begin opening it, and he'll announce his presence, being like, "Veld, I'm coming in."
Okay.
Open
You
up.
open the door, and you say that, and you hear her sigh, and she says, "Oh, you are an annoying one, aren't you?"
I try not to be. And he's staring at her intently as what's she doing?
She's just grinding what looks to be a number of gems into a fine powder.
What is this for? And he's quiet as he's talking.
It's for your friend's ritual.
What ritual? And he'll start walking closer into the room.
She has a friend that she wants to help, and she doesn't know how. I can use rituals to see visions, have other people see visions. She gave me something that I wanted, so I figured I'd be nice and I'd offer her this opportunity.
I have learned one thing, Veld. No one is nice. You will forgive my suspicion, but I wonder what your true intentions are.
She doesn't really respond for a little bit. But if you just kind of keep standing there, she'll eventually say,
You're free to be suspicious. I am a suspicious person. I get that. But your friend agreed to this, and it's not like I'm going to kill her or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm just doing this out of gratitude.
Gratitude? For what?
she points to the old robes that Nyari traded to her.
They belong to someone you knew.
Yes.
He'll nod. I do not like what you did to me.
That's fair.
The thing is, I am low on people to trust. And if I cannot even trust myself, that is too much. Do not do that again.
She doesn't respond. She just keeps going about what she's doing.
And listen, I will only do this because I care about Nyari. And I want her friend to be well. That is true. He'll kind of stiffen his tone a bit. What if any harm at all comes to this? Anything? And he'll look around to see if anyone's like eavesdropping or listening in. And he says, I do not want to make an empty threat. Do not hurt Nyari. And he'll take his...
Roll the sense motive.
Sure.
You've conversed with her for a little bit here.
Yeah, get a little chance. I'll tell you what Josh thinks. Josh thinks that she's being a little bit more genuine than I originally laid on, but Aiden might not know.
Yeah, with that, I mean, it's hard to tell from her body language. It's very clear to you that she's not used to interacting with people. She's probably been out here isolated for who knows how long. So she's not accustomed to interacting with people. She's probably used to the quiet and whatnot. So you get a sense that maybe that's why she responded so drastically to the situation. And as you're talking about Nyari and whatnot, you're unable to read specific like body language as to whether or not she is, definitely not going to do anything to harm Nyari, or if, there's some consequences to this ritual that you don't know about, or if she's just a totally evil person. You're not able to really tell one way or the other.
I don't think she's totally evil, but I do think that there are consequences to this that she's not letting us know about. It's a classic thing, like so classic. Like here's my suspicion. So I bet it's going to be one of those classic kill one to save one kind of scenarios. Some part of the ritual will cause the equivalent harm to someone else in the world, but Ilyka will appear revived and healthy and everything like that. That's Joshua's first thought is going to happen.
Okay, we'll see if you're right.
We'll see. But after that, he'll take his leave. He has no intention of talking to her further. Just that he's upfront about where he is and how he feels about her and what he'll do.
Okay. So once you're done talking, do you go out and you start doing one of the tasks?
Yeah, start doing the tasks like everyone else.
Okay.
Nothing else is wrong.
Basically, she has 5 provision points that she can give, but the way that you get them is doing these tasks, and the tasks that she gives you are strenuous enough that they would deal 1d6 non-lethal damage. And you get 1 provision point per d6. So basically, if collectively you took 5d6 non-lethal damage as a party, you could get 5 provision points from her by doing all these tasks like reshingling the roof or chopping down all the wood or tending to the garden or et cetera, et cetera.
Let's do it.
So you guys can divvy that up as you would like. You could each take 1 and maybe somebody takes 2d6, or maybe you only do 4 tasks so you don't have to worry about that, but it's up to you guys.
See here, does endurance help here? Fishing on everything, man.
No idea what endurance is good for there.
Made to avoid non-lethal damage from starvation or thirst, from hot or cold environments, or to resist damage from suffocation, or to avoid non-lethal damage from a forced march. So no, it will not help with daily chores.
Orin is really stomping hard on the roof.
Oh, is he breaking the roof down over?
So Orin did the 2d6.
I was gonna say like Nyari's gonna do 2d6 as well.
Okay. So that's only 1d6 that somebody else has to do.
Yeah, just because like she's kind of unlike when she rages in combat, she's very like vigorously chopping this wood with almost a sense of purpose. Like she's focused and she's working very, very hard.
Well, in that case, thematically, it makes sense for Orin to take the last one. Or no, he did.
Theros.
I mean, yeah.
I was like, come on, man. I'm literally just clomping around on top of this room.
Oh, just the first one, Andrew. Just the 2 damage.
Yeah, you only had to do 1d6.
Oh, okay.
Collectively, it was 5d6.
Because there's no more that we could get by doing more.
Right.
Else
So
I
with
would
that-
take way more damage.
Yeah, so with that, Orin takes 5 non-lethal, Nyari takes 2 non-lethal, and Theros also takes 2 non-lethal. And with that, you guys are able to get. She will once this is all over, she will give you 5 provision points in exchange for the work that you did.
Okay.
And Nyari, she will actually grab you once you're starting to finish up with the wood there, and she will grab you and take you back into the hut. She has finished making this powder that she needs. She's mixed it with a couple other alchemical items that she has there, and it's kind of a paste at this point. And she brings you in, and she basically tells you to hold out your hand, and she pulls out a small knife, and she cuts your hand rather deep. It is a very deep cut, and you're bleeding very profusely right onto this paste, which is in a bowl. And you take the equivalent of 2 constitution damage.
Ooh.
That's
once-
not insignificant.
It's
So,
not.
So if I put a 1 in there, will that do? Wait,
It's enough to do a
Oh,
minus
negative
penalty.
1.
How?
Yeah. And then as soon as a certain amount has bled out, she kind of waves her hands, and the wound heals and closes back up.
Nice.
And you feel slightly lightheaded because you've lost a decent amount of blood there, but it's not an amount that would pose like a threat to your life or anything. It's basically the amount of blood that you'd give at like if you were donating blood. It's like
Right.
what, like a pint of blood?
A pint normally, I think it is. Which is actually a lot of blood.
Yeah.
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 So much
Ooh.
blood.
So that would take me down a tier in my con.
Yeah, you'd have a minus 1
Correct.
penalty.
Okay, so then my max HP goes down to 27. Like I lose 3 HP,
Yes, you would
Okay.
lose your hit dice and
but I
hit
don't
points.
lose current HP, or I do lose current HP.
You would lose current HP.
Yeah, you would
you
lose
would.
current.
So that would go down as well. Because, roll 20, the character sheet doesn't do that if I put in.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you would.
Okay.
So yeah, we're all there though, watching this happen, or is she alone?
It depends. So she only brought Nyari in, but if the rest of you enter, then you can all be there.
I definitely assume Theros would have gone in knowing what he heard said earlier.
Aiden's there, watching, a hand on his claymore, just resting there, just chilling. He's just a nice claymore.
Okay. So in that case, once she mixes all of this blood into this paste and kind of gets it all ready, she then places it on the table, and she takes a match and throws it in there, and it just lights on fire, and it starts to very quickly emit a smoke, and this smoke just comes out and it fills the whole room, and eventually the room is almost covered in like this mist or fog that smells. There's a certain amount of fragrance to it that you might expect from alchemical items, but there's also a kind of a sickening tinge of smell because of how much blood was in this thing. But this mist kind of permeates this room, and she has Nyari sit at this table across from her. She tells Nyari to hold out both of her hands. And if Nyari does so, she will grab both of her hands with hers, and she will basically say,
This process might be a little painful. It will only continue for as long as you are willing for it to continue. As soon as you will for the ritual to end, it will end. But the longer that you persevere, the more you will see.
and she's explaining all this to you.
When she finishes her explanation, Nyari will look in the eyes of Orin, Iden, and Theros, and she will say, "You are my friends, but if you stop this, don't stop this." And she's dead serious.
Give me a moment. Gotta think about this.
Iden immediately attacks.
I'm thinking about it. No, not really though. But can she die, Veld?
Probably not.
It does not exactly sound reassuring.
It's not exactly a perfect science.
Theros will just look at Nyari and slowly, just knowingly nod his head. He doesn't like what he's being told, but he will abide by her wishes.
Okay. So
Orin just probably grunts, I would assume.
Oh yeah, no, he's just gonna let her do her thing for
Man,
now.
I was waiting for you
He's
just
not
to
making
just
any
grunt
promises.
yourself. I was queuing you up like.
Well,
so
he's not making any promises.
So basically how this is going to go is the ritual is going to progress in essentially rounds. It's more like a minute duration, but for the sake of simplicity, it's written in rounds. Each round, Nyari, you will see a scene. Once that scene ends, you're going to take a certain amount of wisdom damage as the stress of this ritual begins to build. Given the amount of incense that you were able to create to stabilize this ritual, you will only take 1d2 points of wisdom damage per scene per round, basically.
That's what that was.
Yes. The minimum amount would have resulted in 1d8 per round. So that is why Veld said that the more you give, the more stable the ritual becomes.
I got a 10 wisdom. I could have lasted 2 rounds.
Oh man.
So it's going to be
You're
1d...
gonna push it for the full minute, aren't you? You could die here.
I don't think you can die from wisdom
yeah.
damage. You just go unconscious, I think.
Yeah, you just go unconscious.
You go unconscious.
We'll find out, I guess.
So what happens here is that Nyari, you're there, she's holding your hands, and she tells you to like open your eyes, and as you do, she blows this incense directly into your eyes.
My contacts.
And you feel a burning sensation in your eyes, and it forces you to shut them tightly, and you begin blinking rapidly, trying to ease this this burning, and you almost try to like rub at your eyes, but she's holding your hands tightly and you're not able to do so. And after a little bit of time passes, your vision slowly returns, and you look up and you're no longer in Veld's shack. You are in a completely black space, and the ground beneath you is nothing but a slowly roiling fog. And in all directions, your vision is blocked by similar walls of fog. And slowly, this ever-shifting fog begins to rise up around you and coalesce into various shapes. At first, it is hard to make anything out, but eventually the fog solidifies enough for you to recognize Fort Ramgate in the distance. You see a dozen blood-crazed hobgoblins charging towards you, their wispy bodies kind of roiling as they charge. And behind them, riding a warhorse clad in the garb of a Malthuni commander, is what appears to be a young human man. At first, you cannot see his face because of his helmet. The very next moment, his helmet vanishes like smoke being blown away in the wind. And despite this great distance between you, you can clearly see the face of Elwood, his expression contorted in a mixture of rage, horror, and shock. A mass of fog surges around and through you, immediately restructuring itself before you into the familiar form of your brother, Severin. Axes in hand, he charges towards the hobgoblins. From behind, you hear Ilyka's voice screaming in strained desperation and agony. As you turn around, the shapes in the fog scatter and dissipate, leaving no trace behind. Roll 1d2.
This is great. I'm having a good time. Are you guys having fun?
Okay. You take 1 point of wisdom damage as the first scene comes to a close.
Also, I think it'll be very important, by the way, for this scene to consider some of the things that happen to you as you lose wisdom. I'll keep them in mind, but your ability to basically act as a wise or conscious individual goes down the lower it gets. So just as a role play decision, you might be more inclined to push your luck the less wisdom you have kind of situation. But yeah, crazy.
And those of you outside of this ritual, you guys are still in the shack. You're not seeing any of this, but you're seeing Nyari after she finished blinking. Her eyes went wide, and her eyes kind of rolled back in her head slightly. And after a couple seconds pass, the equivalent of this scene, you see her kind of, sweat is starting to beads of sweat is starting to grow on her forehead and drip down, and her face starts to grimace slightly in a little bit of pain. And back in Nyari's world here, you're still in this black space, and the fog returns to the same scene as before, the battlefield at Fort Rangate. But this time it shows the remnants of the battlefield. Hundreds of bodies lie scattered around you. However, only one body remains upright. You see Severin kneeling on the ground in the same spot that he had charged. Dozens of arrows protrude from his unmoving body, as well as a few javelins and other weapons. Yet even still, his slightly slumped body refuses to collapse, as if even in death he refuses to fall. You then see the fog coalesce and form in the distance as another figure approaches. It eventually forms the shape of a beautiful elven woman clothed in Nirmathi hunter's garb. She carries body after body from the battlefield to a row of pits, and one by one lays them to rest. You see her face, and for a moment you recognize her, but at the same time you don't. You have certainly never seen this woman before, but she somehow looks very familiar. And just as the woman approaches Severin's body and begins to pick him up as well, the fog once again scatters. Roll 1d2.
Jason, I like what you've done here.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty darn good. No wonder you were too busy to play video games this week. You're like, sorry guys, I'm writing a novel.
So, not to break up the flow here, but just so I'm correct, when I get to 2, that takes my modifier down.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yep, every even number you will be taking the penalty.
Although this doesn't actually affect drain, so her actual score won't change.
Correct. It is not wisdom drain.
It's just damage.
Right, but for the purposes of my sheet, I put it as if it were drained, just so I have an idea of the things that are affected.
As a new player,
totally fine.
how are those different? Does she regain back, like, after a day, the lost wisdom?
Yeah. Ability damage is regained at a rate of 1 per day. Drain is not regained naturally. Okay. You have to cast a spell to get it back.
That's kind of what I figured.
And on the added to that too is drain actually would affect you a lot more. So damage, for example, let's say you're a 10 wisdom creature. That means you have the average wisdom of a human. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Chase. But damage, as you take that, you are still technically a 10 wisdom creature. You just happen to have you have a negative to your modifier. Drain would actually change your stats. So you would lose wisdom. It would affect your ability to do things. So, for example, if your intelligence went below 3, you wouldn't be able to be conscious or like have a thought with people. You couldn't talk, that kind of stuff. Those kinds of effects don't happen if it's just damage.
Okay.
I think that's correct. I could be wrong, but I think that's how it works.
Yeah, damage gives you penalties. Drain actually lowers the score.
Right. So and if you have too low of an ability, you actually can't do some things. Like I said, you have to have at least an intelligence of 3 to be able to talk. So that would take place with drain, and it wouldn't take place with damage.
Gotcha. What happened
That
next?
kind of stuff. Yeah, I know.
I'm ready.
As the third scene begins, Nyari, you hear the sound of weeping. The fog forms the shape of a door and then slowly swings just a crack open in front of you. And looking beyond, you see the wispy form of Ilyka lying on a bed with her hands raised above her, holding a small knife towards her own throat. For just a second, you think you see in the fog a second shape, this one hovering just above Ilyka, parallel to her, and somehow suspended in the air. You hear a wispy voice say,
"Well, if you've no more will to live, you certainly won't protest if I take your place, will you?"
The shape then surges downwards, overtaking Ilyka's form, and as it does, her arms go limp, and the dagger collapses to the foggy ground below, and the fog scatters once more. Roll the d2.
Oh, shoot.
Very. Yeah. 4 wisdom damage.
Oh, that's ticking up. You want to make sure you roll low enough to at least see the vision.
Okay. The fourth vision begins. And you see around you the fog begins to form the shape of buildings. And you slowly begin to recognize these buildings as buildings in Phaendar, but they all look collapsed and dilapidated. And as you're looking around, you can see a tower not too far away going 60, 80 feet into the air. And walking around you are dozens of these hobgoblin figures. And you can see that about half a dozen of them have kind of lined up in a group. And you don't recognize any of them. You didn't see any of them in the initial attack. But standing in front of them is a hulking figure. A huge, you're not sure if it's a hobgoblin or not. You're looking at it from behind. But this huge figure stands in front of these 6. And it looks as if this huge figure is yelling out orders and giving directions. And it's in a language that you're not familiar with. You don't know what they're saying, but you can hear the conversation continue. And you do pick up the words Kelid and
Scout.
I think that no, and Malgrim. Those are the 2 words that you pick up, because all the other words are in a language you don't understand, but those 2 words were actually Kelid and Malgrim, yeah, as you've spelled them. And then as the conversation ends, those 6 figures begin to leave, and you see them cross over Phaendar Bridge. And as they step onto the shore, the fog once again scatters. Roll 1d2. Okay, 5 wisdom. The 5th scene begins, and once again the fog coalesces, but this time the fog churns and roils into a massive spherical mound. Atop this mound are dozens of small stones arrayed in circular rounds surrounding one massive stone at the mound's apex. This stone rises 20 to 30 feet into the sky in a rounded column with 3 large holes smoothly dug into it near the top, going down to the middle. You see several figures around this mound. At first, they appear to be humans in Kelid tribal garb, and it looks like their arms are raised in a sort of prayer or ritual, perhaps to Gorum or Desna. It's hard to say. But then, in a moment, the figures shift. The fog, the wispy fog, kind of spins. Each of these figures spins kind of like a top. And then as it stops spinning, they now are hobgoblins in the same pose, but now the what was once sounded like a religious rite now sounds like the opposite. It sounds like a blasphemous desecration. And these figures are the same ones that you saw in the previous scene, the ones that had left Phaendar. And it looks like they are now at whatever this location is, doing these rites. And one such hobgoblin kneels before the massive stone column, arms raised, chanting this prayer in the goblin tongue. And you see dark energies from this fog swirl around several of the stones on this mound. And before you can see where these swirls are going, everything dissipates once more. But this time, it dissipates in a tidal wave of smoke that overtakes you, and you feel the same intense burning in your eyes once more. And as you shut them tight and rub the pain away, the next time you open them, you're once again in Veld's shack. Roll the final 1d2. Okay. Does a total of 7 points of wisdom damage.
So effectively -3 modifier.
Yes. And it's a good thing that you went for the tier that you did, because if that had been a D3, you might not have made it all the way. Because you're only 3 away from your 10, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, so that was
Probably.
actually kind of close.
Yeah, could have not made it for sure. Whoa, talk about an exposition dope, though.
Yeah.
As the vision fades and she finds herself back in the cabin, she's breathing really hard, and there are tears streaming down her face that she didn't even realize. She didn't realize that she was crying. And she's going to stand up very abruptly and just kind of look around. And then she is going to push her way out of the cabin. And she's out here and she just starts screaming. And she's like, I trusted him. I trusted him. I trusted him. She screams it over and over. And she just starts, like, I don't know, in the nearest tree or wherever, she just takes her axe and she's just like over and over and over. She's just like ripping into this tree, like screaming, I trusted him, over and over and over.
And then it falls onto the shed, and it's really bad.
The newly repaired roof of Orange just collapses into the house.
And,
I worked hard on that.
I took 2d6 points of non-lethal damage.
And as you stand up and you run out there and you're doing all this, Nyari, you have one of the worst headaches you've ever felt. Your mind feels sluggish and drained, and it is very painful to just think at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think after a while she just exhausts herself, and she just like throws the axe on the ground and falls to her knees and just starts weeping into her hands.
Great. That's gonna take a little bit of time. So Aiden is going to talk to Veld, if possible. I don't know what the
Okay.
other people want to do. I'll give them some time.
Theros will go outside. He won't speak to Nyari, but he'll just kind of watch to make sure she's okay and doesn't like keel over from whatever happened. He doesn't know what she saw or what she went through, but as a pseudo half healer of the group, he feels kind of responsible to at least make sure everybody's standing up.
Yeah, and I think ironically, because they had caught the palm of her hand, with her face in her hands, her blood has opened up and is like mixing with tears, and it's just probably a gruesome sight to see. It's just, just like blood pouring off of her face, but it's not actually like she hasn't really hurt herself other than that.
Oren, come stand beside me.
Oh, that's a good movie. Oren, do you have anything you want to do?
No, dwarves aren't good with this emotional nonsense.
And then to Veld, then. I do not know how visions work, Veld. And is there like a chair or something that he can move to sit down in?
Yeah, the chair that Nyari got up from, you could sit across the table there.
Just meta real quick. I'm just glad the most social character in this gameplay is now interacting with like the least social person we've met. Just like talking to her constantly. She's like, "Get out of here!"
Constantly bothering her.
Yeah, he's gonna take a seat, and he'll kind of like lean in a little bit. And he'll be like, Did you see what she saw?
Yes.
I do not think Nyari. Give me a second. Someone's here.
That's rude.
This is my house. You can't just invite strangers into my house.
Thank you. Love you. I got food delivered. That was awesome.
She's like, "Oh, I forgot. I called the Uber Eats. They just
Yeah,
showed up."
that's mine.
Anyhow, where were we? Oh yeah. I do not think Nyari will be able to tell us now. What did she see?
She saw a lot of things that, well, most of it's up to interpretation, really. It's a bit difficult to say exactly what everything was without the context that she might have, but even she will likely have to put some of the pieces together. But I do know some of the places that she saw. She saw a scene of a battle and its aftermath. She saw a scene with her friend, a scene of Phaendar, and she saw a scene with an ancient shrine that our ancestors often used after battles to celebrate and to heal.
Does she seem pained by what she saw? The same as Nyari a little bit.
No, she looks like she's handling it pretty well.
Kind of like in a cold, matter-of-fact kind of way.
Yep.
Do you see a way that we can help Nyari?
Well, I can give you my interpretation on how you could help her friend, given what she saw in her visions.
And he'll just kind of like nod and... I have time to listen. I think Theros is with Nyari now. And he'll be quiet.
Okay. And she will give her interpretation for the sake of my own voice. I'm not going to do it all in her voice. But
absolutely.
basically what she will say is that and again, this is all coming from her perspective, and she doesn't have the context that Nyari might have. But from the scenes, Veld would probably suspect that the death of one person is what caused the kind of like mental fracture of Nyari's friend, given what she saw in the first scene. But she doesn't know who any of these people are, so she's kind of just assuming. She assumes that the friend has been most likely possessed by some sort of spirit, which is causing her to be unable to really think for herself or do anything for herself. And she would explain to you, and as she's talking, you realize that she is incredibly knowledgeable. Like, she knows just a lot of details. Like, she's going into the religion of Desna, the history of the Kelids.
Wow.
She knows a lot. And you don't know where she would have learned this. Maybe it was all just through years or decades of seeing visions of it, of who knows what. But she's telling you all of this, and with her understanding, she's basically assuming that in order for Ilyka to recover, she needs to confront the death of this other person. And in order to do that, the visions seem to imply that you'll need to go to wherever this shrine is, maybe do like a Kelid ritual to lay down to properly lay that person's soul to rest. Maybe do like a prayer of healing or something like that. She's just kind of spitballing from what she knows of the religions of the Kelids and of that particular site. And she says that it looks like someone is desecrating that location. It's hard to say when, because there's no time in the visions. But she would let you know that one of the more important days for the Kelids would have been on moonless nights. So perhaps, her interpretation again, perhaps going to this site on a moonless night and doing, like, cleansing it, doing this ritual, properly laying the soul of this fallen warrior to rest, and then having Ilyka confront all of that could potentially force that spirit out and have her regain control. Of course, there's every possibility that it has the opposite effect. Like, I don't know. I don't know if Aiden would really know how mental illnesses work or whatnot, but sometimes confronting it can be good, and sometimes it can really not be good.
Well, I was gonna say, we're not really like voicing it out, but it is funny. This one kind of feels more like a video game where you're like, you've just been given your quest, and then you have like the 3 additional dialogue options that you can click to get more information before you accept it. I feel like that's what this situation is like. Yeah. First of all, you mentioned that she's very knowledgeable, and I know this might be kind of a out of left field, but does she remind Aiden of Nolan at all, like the way he would talk about religions and that kind of thing? Is there a parallel there?
It is slightly different. It doesn't have the sense of like awe and passion that he would have had. It's more of a factual, detached retelling of all of this. A lot of what she says lines up with what he says, but the way it is said is different.
So then, he'll select dialogue option A. Could this hurt Ilyka? Could this hurt her? That kind of thing.
Yeah, and Veld would basically say that there's no way of knowing until you do it.
Dialogue option number 2. When is the next moonless night?
I actually had to look this up. I had to get a calendar for Galarian at the time that we're at.
Well, I was actually going to ask. I think that the campaign journal is wrong. Aren't we 2 years ahead from what it says in 2017?
4717.
Okay. Why did I think it's different in the campaign journal? I thought it said 47.
Do you mean to tell me Pathfinder creators had enough foresight to create an astronomical chart for for the world?
Yeah, there is. Well, to be fair, they cheated a little bit. by copying the Julian. What's the Julian calendar? That's what it is, and then renaming it. So yes, but it also helps that it's the same and just set off by 4,000 years or so.
So basically, according to this calendar, the official totally moonless night is 2 days from now, but she would kind of say that the spirit of the what she's saying is that you just want to be able to see the stars, and a night that has like a full moon or a half moon, you can see fewer stars than a night that has no moon. So it's not so much that you have to be there like on a totally moonless night, but on a night that has as little moonlight as possible, so you can see as many stars as possible. So it's more of a range. It's more like a week range type of thing, like 2 or 3 days, give or take, of that day.
And I think that's pretty much all that he's interested in. Also, real quick though, campaign journal wise, what month are we in?
It is Callistrial.
It's a very long way from other events of the story. Okay.
I don't remember if I asked. Does Orin know anything about the Kellid Shrine? Religious wise? Like who it's dedicated to or anything like that?
Yeah, you can roll a knowledge religion to see what it would be.
Character sheet loads. There we go.
Ooh.
Natural 20.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, so you would know about this. The Kellids, a lot of them worship Gorum, but Desna is also a very popular deity for the Kellids, as they often are a nomadic people, and Desna is the goddess of travel and also the goddess of luck and stars and all of that other stuff. But the two deities that probably most emblemize them as a people would be Gorum and Desna. And so it kind of lines up with what you would know, is that Desna having a affinity with stars, that going on a night that has as much starlight as possible would be preferable.
So Orin's just like, yep, checks out. All checks out.
Yeah. And again, as she's talking, she's very knowledgeable, and like Orin, you're realizing is like, yeah, she's basically saying, like, her interpretation sounds pretty decent. Yeah.
I still ain't going.
You as a person or your character?
Both. Little column A, little column B.
So Orin would have a reason to not want to go down there?
How many survivors are left?
How many survivors
in our
26?
group?
In your group? I think you guys have
25 or 26?
something like that. Yeah.
I can't remember if the 27 included Zeph.
No, I think I marked it down when he died, so I think it's I think it's 20.
Yeah, because with Edrin leaving, I think.
Oh,
well,
yeah, Edrin left, so yeah, 26.
Yeah, so 26.
Yeah, 26 is what it is now.
Those are my reasons, Andrew, if you're wondering.
Because there's so many survivors.
I don't see a reason. Yeah, I don't see a reason to go to the shrine to save one person's spirit.
Sure.
When we have 26 people who
I was just curious.
we need to take care of.
Yeah.
That's my last question. If we don't do anything, is Ilyka harm to anyone else in her current state?
Veld would have no idea what Ilyka's current state is, so she wouldn't be able to say one way or the other.
Well, the lady with the possession.
Could we bring Ilyka to the hermit? Is that a thing?
I don't think that would help.
Veld would say that, again, the visions, they don't give you like specific times. So the visions don't indicate that it's an immediate, like, you have to go there right now, nor do they indicate that you have a lot of time to do it. So that part she can't really speak to.
performing an exorcism.
Aiden is gonna get up and is gonna start leaving. And he'll turn again to look at Veld. And he says, I hope the robes are some comfort to you. No harm better come to Nyari. And he'll leave.
Volus will have sensed Nyari being upset and just kind of, bumbles up to her and kind of like nuzzles her a little bit while she's there crying.
And after a while, she'll stop, and then it's just kind of a blank look on her face and exhaustion. And she just kind of sits there and stares ahead at this tree that she hacked apart. Doesn't really know what to do.
Orin will just walk out as well and just look back at Veld and say, thanks for the help, I guess. And walk out.
Okay. I guess in order to just kind of progress things, Theros would just gently, address Nyari. Are you okay? Can you stand?
Wordlessly, she'd just pick up her axe and stand up. Not say anything.
Who has all these supplies from Veld at this point? Is Nyari carrying that stuff on her, or is that still in the building?
Probably still has it. Because I imagine she would have either put the items traded into the haversack or given them to people while you guys were working.
I would imagine that I probably put the anti-plague in the haversack, thinking that that was for the guy back at the camp that needs it, and then probably would have given the wand to Theros since he was the one that has the current wand. So I would imagine the wand's in your possession.
And I still have plenty of ability to carry stuff, so that's not an issue.
Orin will, looking at Nyari and all of us after working that day, do a channel energy, do a little prayer and channel some energy to make everybody feel better.
Wait, what wand did you give to me again?
Whoops.
Oh wait, that didn't roll right.
That did not roll right. I typed too fast.
Andrew, she gave you a wand of cure light wounds.
Okay, we did
with 50 charges.
Got it.
Holy crap! I'm
And
glad you misrolled that first one.
I think that basically puts everybody at max and gets rid of any non-lethal damage that you had. So
nice.
And Veld's like, "Ooh, that felt really good. Thanks."
Woo!
Orin's like eyeing her suspiciously, like, did that heal her or hurt her? What
Orin doesn't know what to
there?
do, so he just sends
Yeah.
out positive vibes.
We chilling. That's all I'm doing. I'm like, all right, this is weird. She's crying. I don't like this.
Here's some good vibes, man.
Yeah.
Thank you to them. Nice.
I suppose we should all head back to camp if we have everything we need here.
Again, Aiden's just readying Jesper to go. Yeah, we'll just go where you guys want to. And yeah, let's go back to camp.
okay. Is everybody in agreement with that
Yeah, I think.
idea?
Absolutely. We have an
Okay.
exorcism to perform.
Well, we don't know what we need to do aside from. Well, we
I'm
know what
kidding.
Veld saw.
I'm kidding.
We don't know what it all means yet. Wait, hey, you know what? Who's not in for a good exorcism every Tuesday
The
night?
power of Torog compels you. The power of Torog compels you. I'm gonna run up and throw holy water on her.
Okay, so as you guys are making your way back to camp, it's getting a little bit darker now, as you are ending the day here. You make it about halfway back, and I want everybody to roll a perception check.
Okay.
Can
I'm
I
wise to your ways.
not roll it?
That's what I was hesitating there to whether or not I
I
wanted to say not
I'm
you.
not perceiving. Yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
That's a
Ooh,
good quote.
it's because it's becoming towards the end of the day, right? That's why Orin can see so well.
That's
Actually,
right,
what time
that's
of day
right.
is it?
It's getting closer to the evening now. You guys basically had 5 hexes left of movement, and this perception check is happening when you have like 2 left, so it's getting pretty late. Functionally, everything would be very dim lit. So with those 3 perception checks, as you guys are walking through the forest on your way back to camp, you hear a loud crash, like a tree that has been hit and has started to crumble and collapse to the ground. And Orin, you hear, in addition to this, you hear a sort of shrieking noise and growling, hissing noise coming not far away.
Well, that sounded really
Did
big.
you guys hear that?
Yep.
Is that a tree?
We do what heroes do.
Mildly
Which
heroic
is
heroes.
run away.
Nope. Go towards the scary noises.
All right. Yeah, let's go. Let's take it.
So you guys can all place yourselves in that little box area.
Where would we be coming from?
I'm going to reveal more, but put yourselves in the middle of it somewhere. You can be anywhere in there, but you'd be coming from like the southern upwards, kind of.
Okay. Because Nyari's in the back and she's not really moved. Like if they moved at a quicker pace, like she's just kind of stumbling along.
Orin's definitely going to take up the use of "not today, Droskar." You know, like a play on the "not today, Satan." It's going to be the "not today, Droskar."
Okay.
That reminds me of the "Die, Potato."
Die, potato.
Not today.
The old ASDF video movie.
Yeah, that's a callback right there.
Right? Good gracious.
Oh, it's Gashma.
This pig. I'm about to roast him.
So you guys come to this small clearing here, and you see a huge boar. And not far from it is another creature that you might not recognize. Who all has knowledge arcana?
I do, but I don't know if I'd roll it in this case.
Okay. That is fine.
I don't.
I do
Okay.
not either.
Okay, so nobody has knowledge arcana, so
Can you click on it for us, though, so I can see the icon? Because that thing looks snazzy. Wow.
Whoa, it's like a
Oh.
Medusa cat.
That ain't right. Something's
I like
wrong with that
that.
cat.
That was
That ain't
cool.
right.
Sarah,
That's
do
a
you still
natural-
love this kind of cat?
I do.
Oh
I
my.
do. I love all cats.
Even the ones that will
Okay,
rip out your
so-
soul.
as you guys approach, you see that these two creatures are kind of like facing each other, and the boar is kind of shrieking out, and the cat-like creature is growling, and they're both in a very defensive stance, almost as if they're about to charge at each other. But as soon as you guys show up, they both kind of look in your direction and are startled, and the boar immediately bolts away into the forest, kind of like away from both you guys and this cat-like creature. And at first, this other creature looks like it's about to like lash out at it, but the boar gets away too quickly, and this cat is left, and it kind of turns back towards you, and it takes up that similar stance And I need everybody to roll for initiative.
Interesting.
Okay, so Aiden is a 15. Orin is a 14. Theros is also a 15.
14.
14, sorry. And Nyari is 18. Okay. So, top of the round is actually Nyari.
I will delay.
She will delay. Aiden, you are up. You see this creature in the distance, snarling at you.
Yeah, I'm not wasting any more time today. 5-foot step, shoot at with a bow.
Okay. You 5-foot step where?
I did. I took it.
Oh, you already 5-foot step. Okay.
I guess I can go there too. Actually, just close the distance a little bit. I don't know how far that is. I'm still within range. It's fine.
Yeah, you're within 1 range increment of the bow.
Uh-huh.
So you can make 1 attack against it.
There we go.
Okay. That will hit.
For 8 piercing damage.
Yeah. And
Nice.
I assume I know how this works, but it doesn't really make sense. You don't have to know the creature type for favorite enemy to happen, right?
Correct.
Like, even though like you have no idea that it is your favorite enemy, if it
It
technically is your favorite enemy, you
doesn't
still get
matter.
bonuses.
Correct.
Okay. I figured that's how it worked. It doesn't make any sense, but yeah.
Well, it only makes sense because rangers don't get knowledge checks to identify things that they can pick as favorite enemies.
Yeah.
Like magical beasts, for example. I don't have knowledge arcana.
Yeah.
So I would know that this is a magical beast, and I will go ahead and look up that. I haven't done a buff for it because it hasn't happened.
And where to find them.
So it is actually 10 points of damage with that.
Yes.
Theros and Volus, you're up.
Guess Theros will move. Let's see.
It is
I wonder what that thing's speed.
pretty far away.
I'll run up there and let's see. What do we want to cast? Anything today? Why not?
Hey, Jason, I'm sorry to interrupt real quick, but a ranger can actually make a knowledge check on trained to identify. So he could technically roll knowledge arcana to identify this creature.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
Josh, roll knowledge arcana and also roll me a 20% mischance because I forgot that it is dim light.
Sorry, Theros, I didn't mean to interrupt your turn.
No,
Nah,
you're
you're
good.
good.
It might take him the
Okay.
moment to just think over what this thing is, and he can just
Knowledge
belts it
arcana,
out.
I don't have any ranks in it, so I can just take an intelligence check, right?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But
And also roll 20% mischance.
okay, doesn't
Okay,
matter.
so you're good.
So everything happened.
And
Alright.
back to Theros.
Yeah. Just trying to think here. Okay. I'm going to. Theros is going to cast Burning Sands underneath it.
Okay. No idea what that is.
Here I can.
Sheets of hot sand is spread over the ground in the area. This layer of sand is 1 foot deep, constantly shifts and turns, transforming the area into difficult terrain. The sand itself burns periodic rises. 1d4 points of fire damage to any creature that ends its turn in contact with the ground within the area of effect. At the end of the duration, the sand vanishes. It is 20-foot radius, 1 round per level. Okay, so where are you placing? We'll use the
Probably
fire token.
right there. Yeah. That would extend it a little bit. Out in
So
front of it.
there, and it's in a 20-foot radius.
Yeah, maybe I'll have a better idea exactly where it's going to be when I can have a visual of the radius.
Okay. Can you see the radius, or do I have to also make it editable?
You have to
in
make
order
it
for you to see
editable.
it at all?
So does that mean like
Can I cast it here then instead?
how does the radius work? Is it like this?
Oh my goodness.
Huh?
Got some
Never mind.
weird blocks here.
I thought that like the radius in Pathfinder worked differently than like the circle. I just couldn't remember.
Or, yeah, it technically does. It's so technically the radius would work on an intersection like that.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then it would go out
Wherever
from
you
there.
want to place it, that's close. That's close enough. Wherever.
Okay. So you cast that. So you move up and you cast that, and that is your turn. Does Volus do anything?
Theros can tell Nyari's still out of it, so I just tell Volus to protect Nyari.
Okay.
Defend, I guess technically is the trick.
Okay. And Orin, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna use spiritual weapon.
Okay. So you can cast that medium range. Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
And it gets 1d8 plus 1 per 3 cast level. So it's 1d8 plus 1 damage.
Yep, and it uses my wisdom modifier as the
Yeah,
attack
your
bonus?
base attack bonus plus your wisdom modifier. Yep.
So how would I roll that to see if it hits?
So what you would have to do is you'd have to just roll. You just have to add them up. So your wisdom is 5, and your base attack bonus is 2. So it would just be a d20 plus 7. And you'd have to write that in the
See if I
chat.
did this right.
1d20 plus 7 is correct, but
Wow.
the to hit there is very low. So this Warhammer of Force, I assume Torag is Warhammer.
Correct.
This Warhammer of Force appears right next to the creature there, and takes a swing at it, but the creature just lithely ducks out of the way, and it misses. That was your standard action. You can still move if you so desire.
And that'll be my turn.
Okay. It is now its turn. It can now no longer charge, which sucks, because that's what I was going to have it do.
Yeah, I did something. I did something useful.
Yeah.
Okay, so it will move like so, getting outside of the sand, but it had to do its full turn to do that because of the difficult terrain and not being able to charge and all of that. So that is its turn. Nyari, you're up.
I guess she'll just kind of stumble towards where they are.
Okay.
Like she's not really super paying attention to what's going on.
Okay. Next up is Aiden again.
Awesome. Well, with that favored enemy bonus, that's pretty nice. We're gonna take another 5-foot step, and this time we're gonna blast him with rapid shot.
Okay.
But I got that favored terrain, favored enemy. I got everything going for me right now. Let's see if that doesn't translate. Ooh, an 18 or 21 hit.
A 21 will hit.
10 points of damage.
This music is like
Okay.
My Hero vibes.
Yeah, a little bit. I went ahead and programmed a buff in there. I think I did it correctly because my 2 hit should
Nice
be
shots, dude.
actually
And how
though,
many of those magic arrows do you have?
0. I have none left. Those are the last 2.
Okay. Okay. And
Actually, did that add correctly? I hope it did. Give me a second.
Theros, it is your turn.
Yes.
He's right next to Orin, so he's going to cast guidance on Orin.
Okay.
So he'll have that little buff next turn,
Yeah.
and then I still have a move action, right?
Yes.
And he's just gonna back up a little bit to here.
Okay. And is Volus still defending Nyari, or do you give him a different command?
He's still defending Nyari, so I'd assume he'd just be right up next to her. Following.
Okay.
Fighting.
And
Fighting.
and Orin, it is your turn.
So first we'll move. So should I do the bonus? So if I understand correctly, the spiritual weapon's just a bonus action that I get now that it's already been cast, right? Like it doesn't use my standard action to move that, correct? And for it to do its attack, because like after I've casted it, it now is pretty much just attacking the target that I had already designated.
That
Yes.
probably right.
I think it can move 20 feet.
20 feet, yep.
Yes.
And attack within 5. So
Okay.
I
So it can move there and get its attack. Yeah, it's only a move action to redirect it to a new target.
Yep,
So-
yep, I'm reading it here.
Okay, so that does not hit.
Oh man.
rude.
Does that include the guidance?
Very, I don't think the guidance works
think it
on
affects
the
that, yeah.
hammer.
I don't
Oh,
think
on the
so.
magic. Oh yeah.
If Orin doesn't attack himself, we would factor guidance into that.
Gotcha.
Guidance, the subject of the touch with divine grace. I don't see why it wouldn't work, but
Because the hammer wasn't the subject.
Yeah.
right, but it's his spell. You know what I mean? I hear you though.
It was
But it's a
cast before
separate
guidance,
entity.
too.
Right.
Yeah, it was also cast before, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. But he'll get it on his next attack still.
Yeah, if he decides to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll risk it.
For
Risk
the
it for that biscuit.
Risk
Yeah.
it and we'll take a swing at him. Ooh, or do I want to inflict light wounds? Do I have inflict light wounds? I do. No, I don't, because I don't want to provoke. So I'm just gonna swing with the mace.
Are you sure you don't want to provoke?
I am positive. I've already rolled. I'm positive.
Okay. That is going to hit. It will not confirm,
Right.
but that will hit. 3 points of damage. Okay. It is now its turn. It is going to take a full attack on Orin.
How many snakes is that?
I hate when you
So,
say full attack. It's not
first
nice.
off, we're going to do
20 snakes.
a bite attack.
Okay.
Oh no.
It's a low roll, only a 15.
Nope.
It's then going to attack with 2 claws. Miss. Miss. And then 2 of the snakes on its shoulders are going to lash out at you as well.
At least it's not all of them, Sarah. That's a lot worse. And this
First
really
one
does
misses.
got some like My Hero, like plus ultra kind of vibes. So
The first one misses, but the second one is a 21 to hit,
Gross.
which I think hits.
Yes. Yeah.
which I think hits. You sound like Chef John from foodwishes.com.
You take 4 points of damage and roll a fortitude save.
Yes, sir.
Texas.
Come on. Load. There we go.
Detroit Slam.
Okay, you are fine.
If anybody gets bit by a snake, it needs to be me. Strong against that poison.
It's then going to 5-foot step over there, and that will be its turn. Nyari, you are up again.
All right, so at this point, she understands what's going on. She's not, stupid. She's kind of dumb because she's got an intelligence of 8, but she will.
And
So
huge
I was
wisdom
reading.
penalties.
Yeah, I was reading that, people's interpretation of what wisdom damage does, and some people said, like one person said, it's like being drunk but without the good part of being drunk. So I'm assuming that she understands that she's like not able to like run up and probably hit this thing. So she's gonna draw out the wand, one of the wands of magic missile, and she will use that and cast
Okay.
that at it. So a big old
Roll
whopping
damage.
1d4. Is it 1d4 plus 1?
Yes.
3.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
And there goes a charge.
Aiden, it is your turn. Can you roll another retroactive percentile die on that last hit you had? Because I forgot to do it again.
Okay.
Okay, you're good.
Oof.
Now take your turn.
I'm debating what I want to do. If I want to charge, if I want to get into flanking, or if I want to charge and get into flanking and provoke. But I think the smartest thing to do would be just to get into flanking. Because you get the same +2, but without the -2 to AC, right? That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm taking inspiration from Sarah and adding buffs for those kinds of things.
Okay.
So, 20 feet of movement, should be able to get in there without provoking.
It will take an attack of opportunity because its snakes have 10-foot reach.
As reach, and then I should have just charged. I should have just charged.
That's going to be a miss.
Cool. Should have just charged. That would have been nice. I would have gotten a +4, but that's okay. Two-handed power attack with favorite enemy all up in this. And I have flanking as well. So that's
Yes.
10 to hit, hopefully, with the greatsword. 24 to hit.
24 will hit.
For
It's looking pretty rough. That's a lot of damage it's
roll.
taken.
That's a terrible damage roll, though, too, actually. It's too bad. So,
It's taking a decent amount of damage. It's looking pretty hurt.
and then okay.
And
we're good.
Theros and Volus, you guys are up again.
All right. Okay. Theros is going to cast Burning Gaze at it. I'll
Okay.
tap there you go.
As a standard action, as long as the spell's in effect persists, you may direct your gaze against a single target.
Oh, do you need me to roll mischance again?
Yes. Yes.
I just realized that.
It's dim light, so every time. Okay. So if I'm interpreting this correctly, you cast the spell and then afterwards every standard action. It doesn't sound like you get an immediate chance to deal the damage, or am I reading it wrong? Because unlike spiritual weapon, it does not say that it says as a standard action as long as the spell's effect persists. It doesn't say like spiritual weapon where it says it immediately gets an attack.
No, this is one of those dumb ones like adhesive spittle that
Yeah.
should work in the same action, but don't for a reason that isn't immediately clear.
So it'd be a standard action to cast it, and then
Trying to
every
make sure I'm not looking at the
consecutive
wrong
round.
person at first. I'm accidentally glancing at Orin as I cast it. Oh!
I think the way it works, and this
Every
is why
consecutive round, you can take a standard action to then do the gaze.
the problem is yes, although it is silly. What is the level of this spell?
Level 2.
It's
Yeah. Well, that's why. So at level 2, you can use it against one person because it will only last 2 rounds. That's why those kinds of things are silly to me.
It's not rounds per level by the spell level. It's by the caster level.
Right. That's what I mean. Well, yeah. So it'll be more now, but the earliest that you could get it, you normally don't get the chance to use it more than once. But yeah.
Yeah, but as you level up, you get it for increasing numbers of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
just like anything else, though.
yeah, you can cast that spell, and from this point onwards, you can. Oh goodness. Okay, so from this point onwards, you can take a standard action to make it provoke the damage. It gets a fortitude save, but if it fails, there's a reflex save to catch fire. Okay, we'll get to that when that happens. Okay, you still have a movement and Volus.
Yeah. He's going to, I guess, move up to. Let's see. Move up to here, I guess, and then tell Volus to attack.
Okay.
So Volus can do 1
Yep,
attack.
Volus goes into attack. It makes another attack of opportunity because it does have combat reflexes.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
It misses.
Good. All right, come on, bear.
The snakes have a very, very low to hit.
Well, so does Volus apparently.
Yes, that is not going to hit.
He was just too confused.
Okay.
Wait, I was supposed to defend Nyari? Okay, I'll attack now.
Okay, so it is Orin's turn. The spiritual weapon gets over there and can make its attack again. And I think this is the last attack that it gets.
It is. Yeah, it'll evaporate after this.
Yes.
Poof.
Even with
Bad rolls.
flanking, that is going
It doesn't
to miss.
actually get it. It doesn't get flanking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it definitely is a miss.
Do I get flanking?
Yeah, you get flanking.
You get flanking with Aiden, yes.
Aiden. Okay.
Aiden.
But that is still going to miss.
It's still gonna miss, is right.
That inflatable hammer
Okay.
man's just having a hard time today.
It is its turn. It's going to 5-foot step back, and I need everyone within 15 feet.
It's everyone but Nyari.
Oh, goodness. No, sorry. That's a 30-foot. Sorry.
That's everyone.
Yeah, everybody roll a fortitude save. As this thing opens its mouth, and all of the snakes kind of line up around it and open their mouths, and they spew forth this noxious gas at everyone. And some of those saves are
Question.
definitely going to succeed.
My Blightburn campaign trait gives me a +2 trait bonus on fortitude saving throws against disease or poison. It says your choice.
This is neither.
It's not. Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, then I guess I'm boned.
And
I think Volus too.
Yes, Volus
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. Okay. So
Oof.
everyone except Aiden and Orin fall asleep for 2 rounds.
Cool. Cool.
And that is
Wait,
its turn.
Question:
Yes.
Is this a magic sleep effect?
No, it is not. It is a sleep effect, but it is not a magical sleep
Oh,
effect.
dang it.
It is a ability that this creature has.
Okay.
It is not a spell-like ability or anything like that.
Okay. Darn. Carry
Yeah.
on.
So
That was
with your
worth a shot.
tomfoolery. keep
Oh.
it. Just go ahead.
All right,
I'm
keep
sorry.
your secrets.
It's not. It doesn't. So you're not asleep for 1d4 rounds. It's usable every 1d4 rounds. The creatures fall asleep for 5 minutes. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So they're out of the
Thanks
combat.
for
so
clarifying.
long.
Well,
So
That's
they're,
so long.
so they're out of the combat.
Slapping or wounding awakens a creature put to sleep by this attack, but normal noise does not. So if you attack one of your allies, they will wake up.
Oh well, that's good too.
So you could power attack Volus and you could wake him up.
Or maybe not Volus, but this could be a good opportunity to get some revenge on Nyari.
Yeah, so Nyari, it is your turn, but you are asleep, so we will skip you.
Skip you.
Aiden, it is your turn. You see that everyone just falls asleep as this gas washes over them, except for you and Orin.
Oh, you know the drill.
Okay.
2-foot step. He's gonna come on down with his big old hammer.
Go
Sword.
ahead and make an attack.
But I'm no longer flanking, so I gotta turn that off.
Correct.
Here it be. There we
Ooh.
go.
That is definitely a hit. It does not confirm.
That
Holy
confirmed
41
damage.
damage.
That
Wouldn't
confirmed
that
damage,
been-
bro.
Good
That'd have been real good.
Tasty.
Actually, the way flanking works, are you flanking?
You can't flank with spiritual weapon, otherwise yes.
No, but like,
No.
are you not flanking with him? Because you can draw a line straight from.
Oh, actually, you're right. I am flanking.
Because of his size.
Because you
of the-
can. Because all you.
Yeah.
So all you. Is it. Oh, so with flanking, is it a corner or is it the center? Because I can't remember because it's
think
different from cover.
I
it's the center.
think
I'll look
that
up. real quick.
that Orin would have to be here.
I think
Yeah,
you
I
have to be a step forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Because
we'll
that
look it up real
was-
quick.
In doubt about whether two creatures flank the opponent in the middle, trace an imaginary line from the two attackers' centers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So from the centers, it would not be flanking. Okay.
correct.
It is because I knew it was different than cover, but I didn't know exactly. But if
Yeah,
you were
too
like,
bad. So a 19
no,
would
even
have
then,
hit.
yeah.
So I should have charged for the flanking. Should've
Yeah,
moved
so
up.
if Aiden was here and Orin was here, it would still be flanking.
Yes. So since it is not flanking, it is a hit, but it is not a critical hit. The creature looks extremely bad now. It is taken a significant amount of damage. Theros and Volus, you are both asleep. Orin, it is your turn.
damage roll was crazy though. 6625. That's why it was so high.
The spiritual weapon, I believe, at this turn disappears.
Yep.
Yeah.
We can get rid of the sand as well. And Orin, it is your turn. This thing is looking real bad.
I'm gonna try and inflict light wounds.
Okay,
So that'll go
So
ahead and provoke.
that will provoke. It's gonna bite you.
Okay.
There's a 22 to hit,
Yep, that hits.
so that is 4 points of damage. And because you took damage while casting a spell, I think you have to roll a concentration check.
Okay.
I think it's just DC 10 plus the damage taken, so I think it's just DC. Yeah, injured while casting is damage dealt plus spell level, so I think it's just DC 15,
Okay.
which would actually be lower than if you would cast defensively, and you succeed. So you keep the spell, and you can make your attack like normal. You do not lose the spell. So
1d8 plus 3.
I think you still have to make a touch attack with inflict light wounds, because it is a melee touch attack to hit the creature, right?
Might be. Let me check. It's creature touched. Instantaneous. When laying hands upon a creature, you channel negative energy that deals 1d8 plus 1 damage per caster. It doesn't say. At least on this one. It just says 1 standard action. Touch. I don't know.
Because I'm pretty sure it.
Range is touch. So it's when laying your hand upon a creature, you channel negative energy. So it's got to be a touch attack, right?
Yes, touch attack required. It's
Okay.
melee touch, save for half. It also requires a touch attack against an unwilling foe. Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
This is an unwilling foe,
obviously.
You don't say.
but it is a touch attack, so that is slightly easier to hit.
So do I get any bonuses for that? It's
A
1d20.
melee touch attack would be your base attack bonus plus your strength modifier.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Plus,
one
yeah, well, it's
base
fine
attack
now.
bonus is 2, 1d20 plus 3 then.
But you can get flanking on that stuff too, just to remember in the future.
Yeah, if you 5-foot
Oh,
step,
yeah.
you can get flanking on that.
I did mean to do that to 5
Okay.
foot step. Will you allow it? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
I was gonna say I did mean to 5 foot step to give us flanking. 1d20 plus. So flanking gives a +1.
Plus 2, so it'd be 1d20 plus 5
Okay.
against its touch AC.
God.
That is exactly its touch
Oh
AC.
man.
Touch AC of 12.
Plus
Oh my goodness.
3. Oh, and I did get a +1 from the guidance, right? Because I didn't calculate that in. Or is that still going?
Guidance triggers whenever you want it to.
Okay.
So if you weren't intending to use it on the attacks that you had already
I
done
wasn't.
before,
Yeah.
then it would apply here. If you hadn't used it yet.
Yep.
6
damage. Whew.
Not yet.
It's close.
He's like, it's 1 health point away.
Oh, man.
It's pretty close to 1 health point away. Pretty close. Like, yeah, it is its turn. Probably its final turn. It's gonna full attack. Aiden, because you've done the
So
majority
much.
of its health and damage.
So there.
So the bite is only a 14 to hit.
No, sir.
First
Nightmare,
claw.
dog.
Oh goodness, I rolled a 7, an 8, a 1.
Get out of here.
The 2 snakes. Another 7.
Try again
And
next
another
year.
1. So all of
You're
those
100
miss.
years too early. No, you got time. You can't.
It will step back. That is its turn. Nyari is asleep. Aiden, you're up.
This is like the centaur all over again.
Yeah. You know what? Why not?
What do
Get that
heroes
flake in.
do?
I'll take
Why
that.
not?
I'll
Why
take
not?
that.
Yeah. You haven't touched me yet.
Another 1, so that's another miss. It's 3 1s that I've rolled in the last 5 attacks.
You haven't touched me yet.
How's it
Get
feel to
that
roll like us?
flake.
How does it feel?
Get that flake in. Now here, for all that talk, I'm gonna get a nat 1 here.
Well, it's not a nat 1, but it's a not hit.
That does not hit. Curses.
It's funny that your damage was more than your attack roll.
That was again. I've had actually some terrible damage rolls, to be honest.
So
Yikes.
skipping down to Orin, it's your turn again. You are now flanking again.
You are flanking again.
This thing is on its last legs.
I don't think that hits. That's
No.
17. No.
No, that does not hit.
Yeah.
Wow, it got another round. I
It
wasn't
really-
expecting that.
That was a 10 to hit. I didn't think it was gonna have that happen.
Uh-oh.
It is extremely hurt. It is going to withdraw and attempt to run away. And I believe it can do so without provoking.
No. Just barely.
Yeah. I believe it can withdraw without provoking, and it has 40-foot movement, so it goes 80 feet into the forest. And I will give you guys 1 round to try to figure out how to either stop it or let it go. Aiden, it is your turn. It has bonuses from cover. We haven't been doing the concealment still.
That's right. Such a pain.
It is 80 feet from you in the forest, dim lit.
Whoops. I didn't mean to post that.
Your turn, Orin. What are you doing?
He's
Right?
showing his hand.
Click the
Pick up
wrong
the bow.
button.
You moved. What was that?
Move down and pick up my bow.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Orin, is there anything you want to do on your turn?
Not much I can really do. How far away is he?
He is 80 feet from you, but I can't actually have him on the map and be that far away, so...
Right. Okay.
So you could move action, get to within 50 feet of him.
Mhm.
Or you could double move, but he would then get further away from you. His speed is 40, so he does move faster than you. So unless you have some way of hitting him, he will escape.
So I will take my. No, I still don't think that'll be enough. I mean, my crossbow is 80 feet, but it's not. It takes a turn to load that, right?
It's a heavy crossbow.
It's a masterwork light crossbow.
Oh,
Then you're
so
fine.
it is a move action, but you'd have to pull it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't have it
Yeah.
prepared and ready and out and good to
Yeah,
go
without rapid shot, it would take pretty much the whole turn to get it ready. Yeah.
to get it ready to fire the next turn.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do that. And
Okay.
just leave it there, but I think he's gonna get away.
Yeah. You get ready, and it continues to flee into the Fangwood. Another 100 with a run speed. It's really far away. It's gone. It's out of sight.
It can't run through the woods, though, technically, because stuff would be in its way. But yeah,
You don't know what its abilities are.
that's fair. But Iden's gonna track it down. So
Okay.
Oh, are we're chasing after it? I mean, I'll
I-
chase after it, but
Iden's going to.
It's getting close to night,
Yeah, you don't.
but you
care.
can do so.
Yeah.
alright.
You're
So-
currently 2 miles from the camp.
Okay. So
I'm the only one that's injured.
how do you want to do
What?
this? You want to like roll, what's it called? Survival checks to track it and figure out how much time has passed to find it, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah, the question is how long you want to go, because you will be going through the night to track it. Because again, like I was saying, it's basically like 9 o'clock at this point, like 9:30. Like you have 2 hexes worth of movement. It's like very end of day, so you can track it probably, but it's going to take a lot of time. It is moving quickly, so you will catch up to it once it stops moving, basically.
Right, I realize
And
that.
if it perceives you before you arrive, it will probably run again. So this is going to take a while. You can do it, but it is going to take time. So how long do you want to track this thing, and how far are you willing to go?
Well, the concerns of the group is there. I think Iden is going to go far enough that he gets a sense of where it is and try to take like a mental mark of where he last saw it. And so maybe, not too long, because he knows he's got to take care of the rest of them. So maybe 10 minutes or so, just follow where he thinks it went. Kind of give himself like marking as he goes so he knows where to find it again. And then he'll double back to the group. He'll deal with it later, but he's not going to let it just go away kind of situation.
Okay, roll a perception and survival check. Perception because it is getting dark, so it's going to be hard to find, and then survival to track.
There's my perception. And this is against my favorite enemy, so survival and the terrain, everything gets added into that. This is a 22. And plus my ranger level to track. So that's a 21. 23 plus half ranger level track. So yeah, 23.
Yep. So over 10 minutes, you're able to follow the tracks just fine, but they do keep going. They don't really show any sign of it. Like it slows down a little bit, but it keeps going. You don't find like its den or anything. You get a general sense of the direction that it headed, and you could maybe come back and pick up the trail later. But unless you want to keep going through the night, it'll take more than 10 minutes to catch up to this thing.
Right, absolutely. He's gonna just leave a little etching in a tree or maybe some rope or something. He'll mark it in some way that so he can find it easy again in the future.
Okay.
And then he'll double back to the group.
Okay. So you guys are all back there, and I assume you guys are just gonna head back to camp now then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
we're all still asleep, so somebody gonna slap
It
us?
only lasts 5 minutes. It would have taken longer for him to follow those tracks.
Imagine just Orin just standing over us, just waiting and watching, not waking us up. Just anytime now.
He's got his arms crossed. He's tapping his foot.
Did I see any marks from Gashma at all while I was walking?
Yeah, you saw several trees that had the indicative circular carving on them from one of Gashma's tusks. And roll another survival check.
I would say if we hop over to the hex map, can I just like mark where that is?
Yes.
I completely forgot that we were at the cabin now.
Why does
like,
everything escape us?
26.
So you guys were right in this hex. So 26, you get the distinct sense that these carvings are all very, very new. And what you assume to happen, and with that survival check, you get the idea that it looks like Gashma is migrating.
Right, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was chasing him more than I would have otherwise.
And it makes sense. Storm just hit, probably has driven Gashma further in this direction. Maybe that's also what happened with the other creature that you fought, but you don't know exactly how far they went. They went over in this direction. But yeah.
My gosh, that's so far away. That's so far away. That's so far away.
So you guys make it back to camp. It's a little late, so you guys, you get back to camp, and most people are sleeping. I imagine you do your rounds of watch, and it doesn't appear that anything happens. The next morning comes. You guys awaken. What is your next course of action?
So, question. I heal 1 point of ability damage.
Yes, you heal 1 constitution damage, which basically negates that penalty.
Okay.
And 1 wisdom damage, which...
Oh, so it does stack on multiple scores.
Yeah, so both of those scores you go up by 1, which gets rid of your constitution penalty, but doesn't really do anything for your wisdom because your wisdom was at 7.
Right. So, I don't like gain the HP. I stay my lower HP. My max just goes up.
You would regain that from the night's rest would heal you back up that.
Oh, you're okay.
Yep.
Damage.
So yeah, I'll say you're fine.
Okay.
Very cool.
So where are you guys going? You've got a lot of options here. You know that eventually you'll need a more permanent shelter. This cabin helped immensely for the storm that came, but it's not super big and it's not super stable. You have recently gained knowledge that Gashma is getting closer, and you have knowledge that the Kellage Shrine is an important place for some people.
And that the troglodytes know about us.
Oh yeah, they totally know about you now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we make any decisions, Theros would approach Nyari in the morning, just to speak with her about the events prior. Say something like, Nyari, I did not want to ask about this yesterday, given the amount of trauma you underwent in that divination, but you do know that we are here with you. We want to help you, but for us to be able to help, we need to know what it is you're doing. What did you see in your visions? I understand we've been betrayed many times. Is there somebody here in the camp we shouldn't trust?
Not anymore. That bastard Elwood was Multhuni this whole time. And to be honest, if he were here right now, I would kill him with my own hands.
That's going to throw Theros off quite a bit, and he just kind of stands in stunned silence and doesn't say anything else. Just realizing, that's what freaked her out so much the previous day. And he won't press her further. So, so what are we going to do?
Oh, that was it. That was the end.
That's what Theros would do. He's not a very social person. He wanted to get
No,
information, but now he's completely thrown off of what he was asking her about, knowing that Elwood, somebody who kind of was a hero in his mind, had kind of spurred him to kind of step out a bit more, was actually, a traitor.
Well, to be fair, he did still save everyone.
Technically, he wasn't a traitor.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of complexity.
Not a traitor.
There.
He was still.
In order to be a traitor, he would have to have first been on your side.
He's still the sworn enemy.
He's a traitor of Multhun, technically.
Okay, yeah, so he is a traitor. Yeah,
he is a traitor. He just has now been hated by everyone.
But we don't actually know if he's dead. We just know that last we saw he was with hobgoblins, and now we know he was Multhuni, and they have a history of working with the hobgoblins.
No, you do know he's dead.
You
we
saw
did see his
him
body
on the
right.
crane, very dead.
Okay.
With the
very much
chain
dead.
on him.
Jason made it explicitly clear to me.
Nope,
I
you're right.
wanted it
He's
to be
dead.
very certain that he was super dead.
Yeah. No, he made it expressly clear even before the stories transpired. Is like, Josh, Elwood will die. Like, you're not getting out of this. I was like, yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, but Josh, Elwood will be dead. I was like, yeah, it's fine. I'm okay
Fair
with
enough.
this. So yeah.
So who's going to be making the suggestions in our group as to what we do next? I imagine Nyari probably has some thoughts.
Well, I want to steal away and talk to either Kyning or Auburn, I think. Probably Kyning for a little while.
Okay.
Interesting.
I think Nyari would go to Auburn.
Okay.
Orin or Theros going to anyone?
Nope.
Orin's like, I was gonna go to Kyning, but
Right, yeah. do I accidentally walk in on the two of you having a conversation? It's kind of like a little awkward. I'm like, oh.
It's just us staring at each other saying, I hate you more. It's one of those things.
I'm sorry, I'll come back later. I'm sorry.
It's like in The Last Airbender when
Yeah,
Zuko
exactly.
goes in and Sokka's
Yeah.
got the rose, and he's like, oh, you're not who I thought you were.
He's like quickly puts it away. It's like,
Oh no.
It's great. It's great. Canon.
Justin's like, I quit.
Yeah, I can see it in his eyes. Like,
It's like, this is no longer fun.
well, he's starting to think, he's like, what else could I do
Oh
on a
no!
Tuesday?
Orin fell in a huge cavern and is dead. Oh, that's unfortunate. Frampton.
Okay,
we have
so
one course of NPC actions, right?
we will have this. What just ended was one day that we have not done anything with yet.
Right.
So we can start with Aiden and Kyning.
We don't have to role play too much out, but basically he'll thank her again for what she's done, and then we'll say like he's noticed that Gashma is coming further south, and that they found another magical beast that he aims to hunt, but he fears the group has other pressing concerns. And he says, I know it carries with it some fraught danger, but it would be really appreciated if she could go. And he said he had left a mark where he had been previously, and he was just hoping she could stealthily kind of go and try to see if she can't find either of their dens, and that would be a really big help.
Okay. Yeah, she will nod, and it's basically what she's been doing this whole time. You're just giving her a specific direction to go in.
Yeah, this time it's a little bit more like, I want you to find these two things if you can't. You know what I mean? Like, then just go that way and see what's there. So that's why he's taking the time to pull her aside.
Yep.
And then he'll make his way over to Auburn's tent when that's done. So at some point, I might interject during Nyari's conversation, or like make my presence known and wait at the end of it, kind of depending on how it goes. I'll watch as time passes.
Okay. So Nyari, you go over to Auburn.
Auburn, are you familiar with a shrine somewhere in the Fangwood that may have significance to the Kellid people?
Well, I'm not sure of any shrine in the Fangwood itself, but there's one not too far outside of the Fangwood. It's only a couple miles into the plains.
Okay, I think that is the same one that we're familiar with, but do you have any idea how far away it would be?
It's a couple miles south of here. You could probably get there. You could probably get there in a day. I don't know if you'd be able to get there and back in one day. Maybe if you moved a little bit through the night, maybe. But it's probably about half a day south of here.
Just kind of nod. And then she pauses for kind of an awkward period of time, and Auburn's probably just like, what's going on? She'll be like, Auburn, you were familiar with Elwood. He would come into Phaendar. He would trade with people in Phaendar. He would do jobs for people in Phaendar. What did you know about him? About his past?
I don't know if I knew really anything about his past. I know that he showed up a couple years ago, and he didn't really say too much, but he would help out where he could, and he eventually started doing a regular route from Phaendar to Tamarin, just as sort of a bodyguard, I suppose you could say. He's taken merchants there and back, especially for the festival. He would often make a trip up to Tamarin and then find some of the merchants there that were going to make a caravan down for the festival, and he'd help them out. He was very helpful in that regard. He was a quiet fellow. He didn't say a whole lot about himself, but he seemed like a pretty good person to me. I never really pried into his life too much. We didn't really actually talk a whole lot, just kind of saw each other around. Why, is there something that you're worried about? Or I know that we lost him not too long ago.
He was Multhuni, Auburn. And he is the reason why my brother was killed at Ramgate. And he is the reason why I ended up in Phaendar in the first place. And I just want everyone to know what he truly was.
That is quite a lot to take in so suddenly. I mean, I suppose it's possible. How do you know this?
I had a dream, and everything else in my dream was true. So I have no reason to disbelieve that aspect of it.
she will take a moment to think. She's just kind of processing all this, and she'll nod a little bit, and she'll say, "Well, I know that dreams are very important to you. I know that you've already had a couple dreams that you told me about that led to some very real and important findings. I would caution you, though. It sounds to me like that only half of a story is being told here. I'm not saying that your dream is wrong. I'm not saying that what you've said about him is false. But from what I know of him, and from what you're saying of him, there's a big disconnect there. And it sounds to me like there's a lot that's not clear. And so I just I'd have you think about that. I'd have you. And then she'll, kind of at a loss for words, she'll just kind of say, none of us are perfect. None of us have had pure lives. We're not blameless. None of us are. All of us have done something that we regret, something that we shouldn't have done, and maybe he did a number of things that he shouldn't have done. But just try to think of how he was when you knew him, not how he was before you knew him. Because it might not have really been the same person at all.
Honestly, Oberon, I don't care.
Auburn. Aiden's probably getting close at this point.
She'll just walk away.
Are you busy?
No, Aiden, I'm
Oh, and he'll
I'm
probably
free at the moment.
see Nyari as she leaves. And he'll walk in and, probably put his hand on her arm or something, let him know that she's here. And he'll take a seat. Auburn, how are things at the camp?
Well, luckily they were pretty quiet yesterday. Not a whole lot happened. And
Things...
given the things that have been happening with us, quiet is good.
Quiet is good, Auburn, but I worry. Things have not been good for us. And he kind of leans back in the chair and is kind of starts venting a little bit about his experience and probably lets on I do not know. I have told Nyari that I would trust her, but I'm beginning to doubt her judgment. But also, no one listens to me, Auburn. And worst yet, I don't know what we should do. She thinks that perhaps going to see the Khalid shrine could help her friend, Ilyka. But I know that we also need a place, and Gashma is coming further from the north. I feel like there's too many things that we need to do, and we can only do some of them. And I don't know what is the most important.
It's a tough problem. It's I've never really been one to enjoy the responsibilities that came with leading people. That's part of why I liked Phaendar so much, is because nobody was really the leader. We could give our piece, give our advice, but it was really up to everybody what they wanted to do. We didn't really have to worry about taking the responsibility so much. Whether they took our advice or not was what came after was up to them. But I agree. This is a tough spot. And you're right that there's a lot of things that need to be done, and from what you've told me and from what I gather from Nyari, she's struggling. She's got a lot that she's thinking about. There's a lot of burden on her as well. On all of you, I know.
We were free in Phaendar. I will think on it, Nyari, and try to think where we should go. Thank you. I know you have told me you do not like to lead. And in Phaendar and all of Nirmathis, we hope that we can embrace true freedom. But in times like this, we need someone to guide us. And I know that you say that you look to us as the ones who are in charge. But I look to you. So thank you, Nyari. Nyari, Auburn. Thank you, Auburn.
Aiden, you know that I'll always be here for you. If you ever need someone to talk to, I'll always be here to listen. And I'll give you what advice I can, but again, and I'm sorry about this, but anymore I'm just not as... I'm not as fit as I used to be for this sort of thing. And I don't mean to use, my own condition as an excuse or anything, but I just don't think I can do what you're able to do. Not anymore, at least. I could have in the past, but what you're doing now is something that I couldn't accomplish. And while you're out there risking your life, I will be doing everything that I can to keep the camp together, keep their spirits as high as I can. I'll do all that I can. And if you need my advice, I'll give it. But my advice is only worth so much. You've said that you want to be a ranger. You've said that you want to be in that position. And I think you're starting to see now. You're getting a glimpse of how challenging that is. How challenging that really is. There's more to it than just being good at fighting, being good at tracking. That's important, but there's more to it than that.
You are right, Auburn. There is more to it. But I will learn. And he'll get up and start to go.
And as you are exiting the tent, she just, as a parting word, she just says, "For what it's worth, Aiden, I think you're doing a fine job."
And he'll leave with a smile. That took me back to college years a little bit. Jimmy Ginyard used to come out and he'd always say, "Y'all are doing a fine job." And it made me feel so good in the middle of end of semester stress and getting papers done. He's like, "Hey, y'all are doing a fine job." I still feel it. Auburn is basically the camp counselor as well. It's
Yeah,
kind of funny how
that's basically all she can do anymore.
Yeah. Things are good, but I wonder about that.
You started right. Things are good, but when you said that, I was like, if he says I wonder about that, I'm gonna crack up. But you didn't. You changed up a little bit.
And well, it is funny. I'm not conscientious about it, but it is funny because I have had these locutions that I've been trying to practice and develop, and it's funny that you started picking up on them though. It's like, oh man, a little bit more often. It's almost a catchphrase now. A lame catchphrase.
All right, what's Oren up to?
Just waiting for you guys.
Just chilling
Orin's
by the
rubbing his
campfire.
jaw. He's like, "Oh, my teeth hurt so much."
Yeah, right. They really do.
Then Theros will talk to Orin a bit because he's just trying to process what Nyari told him, and he'll say to Orin, "I spoke to Nyari about her visions. There's more than Veld understood. She said she saw Elwood, but he was a Multhune. Multhuni. I don't know exactly, but she indicated that if she saw him, if he was still alive, she would have killed him herself. What do you think about this? I'm not sure what to make of it."
I don't really think it involves us. She clearly has something against the Multhuni. I think a lot of them forget I'm not Narmathi. I mean, I live here, but what are they called? Narmathi? Is that what they would go by?
Near Mothi, yeah.
Narmathi? Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, Orin's like, they forget that I'm not Narmathi. I don't really care about their problems. What I care about is making sure these people survive.
Oh yeah, I want Aiden to be here too. Can Aiden be walking over to here? I want him to.
You
be
can,
here.
sure.
Depends on where their conversation is. If they're just out in the open, you might overhear it as you're leaving.
Well, yeah, because I'm leaving Auburn's tent, and my image of what I was going to go do next was meet up with all the four of them. So if he finds the two of them talking, I imagine he hears and walks in on that. He says,
"Sure."
So he'll be like, "Orin," and he'll take a seat. "Where are you from? You're not Narmathi."
Not technically. The Sky Citadel Kragadon. Are you familiar with it?
"I've heard of it."
Dwarven Citadel.
Yes.
Geographically, technically, it's in Narmathi, but
Can I roll a knowledge? What would it be? History, local, geography, to learn the history of that place? Because I know something that I'm not sure I knows.
To learn the history of it would be history. To know about its existence and the people there and stuff would be knowledge local. To know where it is would be geography.
What about its stance in the war? Because that's what I'm concerned about.
That would probably be local.
Oops, didn't mean to do that.
I don't have knowledge local. Can I roll it though?
As a Nirmathi, sure.
Okay, because like I was gonna say, like they've remained neutral. In the
Actually,
war.
no, that's stupid. No, you'd know.
Yeah, that's what I was
You're
saying.
you're Nirmathi. You don't. I mean, you don't know about the war much, but like most Nirmathi would know about their stance.
And they've remained neutral in our fight. Yeah. He's gonna bring it out and call him out on it.
Or they were neutral. Or see, I'm still a little fuzzy on our timeline.
They are neutral. So
they are neutral.
Basically, the civil war between Nirmathis and Multhune has been going on for decades. Like ever since the official creation of Nirmathis, Multhune still always continually tried to retake the territory, even after losing the civil war, technically. And Kragadon never took sides in that conflict. In the past 2 years, Multhune had reason to besiege Kragadon specifically, but Kragadon has not fought back. They've just holed up in the mountain because it's basically impenetrable.
Yeah, it's unbesiegable. There's nothing Multhune can do.
Yeah, they're basically just waiting it out. Like they're besieged, but they don't really care because it doesn't change a whole lot about their life. So they're still neutral, even though they're being actively besieged by Multhune.
Right. I was gonna say, I'm assuming he would be privy to that, because if he is, that would be wearing on him for sure.
Yeah, this is not new events. There's been plenty of time for this stuff to be through the rumor vine, gone through the city, the nation.
Orin, your people remained neutral in the war. How can you justify that?
Why would dwarves care about human kingdoms?
But don't you care about the lives here?
I care about the lives in this camp, and that's about it.
How can your care be so little?
That's not little. I could leave right now, but I stay because these people need us.
And
That's not little.
I appreciate that, Orin, and that's not what I'm attempting to attack. I just question. Phaendar is one town, and they are not the only ones who have suffered at the hands of Multhune. And I don't know about Elwood, or what is the truth there, but I do know about Multhune. And they are on the wrong side of the war, Orin. They have taken so much from us.
What would you have me do, Aiden? Would you have me call the banners of the dwarves as one lowly Torag cleric? I have no control over what the dwarves do.
That is not what I am saying. I'm just trying to understand better. How do they see it? How do they not see our struggle?
Again, it's human kingdoms fighting human kingdoms. Would you care if the dark dwarves attacked Kragadon? You wouldn't care. You wouldn't raise an army to lift a siege of Kragadon. You wouldn't care.
That's a sharp accusation, Orin. I care about Kining. I think I would care about you too, if I did not have my own problems to deal with.
Exactly. Dwarves
So
have
then
their own problems to deal with.
What problems are that? Mine is a war.
Well, again, I'm sure they're much above my head. I'm just one cleric.
I'm sorry, Orin. I'm not trying to be mad. I just don't understand. Things are not as simple as I thought. And people, I can't trust anyone.
If I may interject, we must discuss someone we do currently trust, and she's going to be seeking our help. I'm sure of it. We have to figure out what we're going to do with Nyari and this vision. Do you suppose she will want to go to the Kellid Shrine?
She will, and she will not have any word what we have to say. So we must either go with her or do our own thing. I have already talked to Kining and told her about Gashma and the other magical beast we fought. She will look to find where they are, and we can deal with that later. I do not want Nyari to put herself in harm's way.
There's not going to be any stopping her, I have the feeling.
There is no stopping Nyari. She will do what she wants.
Do we allow her to go down on her own? That doesn't feel right.
No, I'm so self-conscious about it.
We have 26 other people to worry about.
I wonder about that.
He said it.
He said the thing.
I was literally gonna do it there, then I was like, wait a minute.
We need a counter. Be like, this is number 10.
Every
Aiden's
I
thing.
think Eric is right.
I think
Gonna have to
that was-
listen back from the first episode and edit in to the videos, edit in that counter.
I care for Nyari, and I do not, and Ilyka too. But Orin, you are right. There are 26 other people who need our help too.
Perhaps we could reason with her to help us find safety for them, at least a more secure location before heading down to the shrine.
I do not think
Exactly.
Nyari can be reasoned with, but you are welcome to try.
Ilyka's
We have
not
to
in any present
prioritize.
danger. Surely she
Right.
must be aware of that.
With her 3 wisdom.
Is Nyari at all around or begins approaching, or do we have to go look for her? Or
This is about to be an intervention type moment where we're like, Nyari, come in, have a seat. Would you like a cookie? We need to talk.
I have actually had an intervention for one of my friends. Let me tell you, that is not an experience you want to have.
We about to have it.
We are. This is getting rough.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, you have to understand, she has a massive amount of wisdom damage, so she's not operating with common sense. She's
Oh,
not going to sit down and have some discussion about what to do. Like, she basically can't think straight right now and is prone to acting on impulse. So,
Is she
I'll
already
leave
gone?
it
Is
at that.
what you're saying?
No, she's not gone. But I'm saying if you're going to try to sit down and be like,
Oh,
all right,
no.
Nyari, we've got to talk about this. She's going to be like, I can't think. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I can't.
No, Aiden's not gonna do that. The two of them might want to try, but Aiden's over it. Actually, Aiden's a little bit over Nyari at the moment. Not gonna lie. It's just like she's just always doing her own thing.
Yeah, you guys would know that it, technically speaking, like the full moonless night isn't until tomorrow. And even then, you probably have 2 or 3 days after that to still get a night that has barely any moonlight for the full kind of starlight that you'd need. So
you're saying, wait, tomorrow night would be the no moon night?
Yeah, because I think when I was looking at the calendar, so the calendar that I'm looking at says the 25th, and I think we were at the 23rd. This would now be the morning of the 24th.
So boy, so
technically,
you don't want to go there right now.
So like you could go there right now, and it would be just as moonless, almost just as moonless as it would be on the 25th or on the 26th, maybe even on the 27th. Maybe beyond that, though, it would start getting closer to having too much moonlight.
By the way, that was good, Justin. That was a very realistic fight. one character who actually literally is too ignorant to know, and another character that is literally too biased to know, and it's just butting heads. Obviously, it's like, what do you want me to do? There's nothing I can do.
What do you want me to do? You want to go raise the Dwarven army? Like, I like to go listen to me, even if I could get back into the city, which again, I don't think I could.
Also, yes, Jason, it is a biased argument. He was born and raised in Nirmathis and had literally everything taken away from him by Malthun. So
no, what made me think about that is just like every time you have that talk with Aubryn, you're always like, "Yeah, we Nirmathi." I'm like, I'm not Nirmathi at all.
Technically, neither am I.
Yeah, I'm
not
like,
at all.
I'm doing this because I care about people, not because I care about any like political strife.
That's actually really fascinating.
Theros would have grown up mostly in the Fangwood, so he'd be a little detached from politics. He knows like the groundwork of it and is sympathetic towards Nirmathi, but Aiden's, I think, the only one in the group who feels very strongly about the political side of it.
Yeah, the druids of Crystalhurst are almost as detached as the dwarves of Kragadan, probably.
Just as much, yeah.
And Orin to that. So did Orin... So according to the trait that you took, like he left Kragadan and he was part of the conflict, right? He was like a mercenary?
Yeah, like I had him just go into like heal people, like going on like kind of like a pilgrim.
As like a combat healer, combat.
Yeah, like a pilgrim kind of thing, like just going out to heal and take care of people. Not so much like fighting in the conflict, but more just like providing aid, I guess.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
To both sides?
As like a goodwill mission type of thing.
Yeah, not to the Malthuni side, obviously.
No.
They're sieging Kragadan, but
yeah, because that's what happened is like because Orin would have had to leave.
Yeah.
Orin would have left Kragadan to do all this stuff, and then while he was gone, Malthun would have sieged it, and he never was able to get back in.
Right. And then it's like, oh, I can't go home. Okay, cool.
So Orin did leave Kragadan to assist in some way. It's not like he's not help. He hasn't helped at all.
Right. And I don't think that like Aiden is frustrated not with Orin as an individual, but Orin as a representative of the passive energy that he is familiar with the dwarves. You know what I mean? Like, it's not so much that he has a problem with Orin. Obviously, Orin came and helped.
I am not an ambassador of Kragadan. It clearly says refugee.
But it does make him wonder, like, why doesn't everyone, like, what's their thinking? Like, why don't they help? Aren't they, like, part of this kind of thing? And for him, it's incredibly selfish.
Riches. They care nothing of the affairs of men, or whatever it is that...
Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. It's just like, it's a human kingdom. Why would I care? Like, not so much why would I care. Why would dwarves care? Why would Kragadan care about whether Malthuni is technically the overlord of Narmat?
The added
why would I care?
Fun history there too is Kragadan has always existed independently, regardless of how the actual territory that's ruled. They've existed under their own form of government and their own form of legislations. Who owns the surface is not really their issue at all, because they're so defendable that they can't be sieged.
So do you all suppose we should approach Nyari about this decision?
I think you can talk to her, but the truth of the matter is, she is in no state to listen to anyone, and she would do what she wants anyway. I think that we should decide what we should do.
I say we make for the caves. It it represents our best option for a secure, defensible position. We know
I
they exist. We know that it's troglodytes living there.
I worry about the troglodytes too. I know word went back to them.
Well, they're probably waiting for us. Either that or they're preparing to attack us.
That's true, they did send out that bird messenger when we fought them the other day.
But it is also true, I am not willing to sacrifice Ilyka for everyone else's sake. But whatever we do, we have to do quickly, and it's simply a matter of priority. One thing, and then the next. That is how I feel.
Agreed.
So I am with you, Orin. Let us go to the caves, and find a place for these people that is not a shack, and that they can actually live in. And then we can see about doing what Nyari wants. And if she will run off on her own... he sighs. I wonder what would be best. Maybe we take someone else with us, or a small group.
What's up, Sir Dahood Wall? You ready to go on an adventure? You gonna get involved today?
I wonder. Yeah. Yeah. So,
It's because we care about people.
well, I think
Which
that's
of us
going to be a
should-
very fun thing to explore
should-
because he's brought it up in the past how he feels like he never does what he wants to do anymore. But I think that's because he's realizing the burden and responsibility
Mary.
of having power and a section of leadership is like my responsibility is I can't act on my own volition. Like that's what I give up to protect these people. Kind of. So that'll be very fun to explore
The
for sure.
true
Jace.
price of freedom.
It will. I was gonna say, talking about the sacrifices to keep these people.
Well, it's the true price of
safe.
freedom.
Yeah.
Because like to have true freedom, this has to no longer be there. But until then, you can't act on true freedom and like at least the way he sees it, you can't do that and be good still.
Exactly. Like Orin doesn't truly really care whether it's Malthuni or Narmathis, but like he cares about people and knows like, okay, if he abandons these people, they're gonna die.
And maybe he'll have, the full good realization, like maybe he's being free by realizing he likes doing what's good. But at the moment, he really is feeling that like imprisonment, like that shackled to his responsibilities.
He wants to hop on his horse and ride away.
If he had his way, he would not be here right now. He and Jasper would be very far from Phaendar and these people.
So we seem to be in a Andrew, Theros, what's Theros' take on all this?
Which of us is going to be the one to speak to Nyari? I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a bit nervous about the exchange.
You might want to take Volus with you.
I do not want to scare her to coming with us, but I wonder. It's also true that if she goes alone, she might put herself in danger. But that is her choice, right? That is what freedom is.
Yep.
I will tell her. I think. She won't take it well from me, though.
I will speak to her. I will speak to her. After all, that's, as I've been saying, it's about time I stood for something. So Theros will go talk to Nyari. I don't know what Aiden and Orin are doing.
I'll go with.
Okay,
Probably not
cool.
gonna talk, but I'll go with.
A little moral support.
Moral support. I'll be cheering in the back, like, yeah.
Maybe we talk to her as a group.
Yeah.
I would not
Let's
try.
object to that.
But I think it is important that we decide if we will respect her wish. If she wants to go, will we let her go? Or will we fight for her to come with us?
Well, have to fight for her to come with us. It's suicide to travel that far with just her and a girl.
Then if she cannot be reasoned with, what will we do?
Kill her.
Knock her out.
Who said that?
Her in half.
Some
her
disembodied
out,
voice
tie her
just
up.
spoke into my head and said to kill her. What's going on? I think I'm losing my mind.
I just had the most terrifying thought of like the two kids being there saying that, but that would be.
I'm not gonna.
Naomi was right the whole time.
That made me so good.
I'm still waiting for my "I told you so" moment.
I gotta say, there is literally a part of me that kind of wants like. I think the natural progression, unfortunately, is to actually split the party. I don't think everyone else could be convinced to go, and I could see Nyari stealing away.
That's kind of what I was going to be role playing into a bit here, depending on.
I
how
think
things
that
go.
that's what's gonna happen here, and so then it makes me kind of feel like, oh, Sarah, can you bring your backup character in? Like, can you role play two characters based on the seed, please? Can we have someone to
Well,
help?
it's unfortunate Nyari and Ilyka are dead. I mean, it just is unfortunate.
Well, it is unfortunate, but I don't think that there's
Very
a way in
unfortunate.
good narrative integrity that we can do anything else. So,
So
better
what-
for worse.
Where is
We'll go
Nyari
with
so we can go talk to her?
Yeah.
She's probably just kind of sitting somewhere in camp,
With
just
Ilyka?
staring in the distance. Probably not. Probably not.
No, then
So,
we'll approach
Yeah.
her.
Oh yeah, because we're at the cabin, so she's stuck in a bear trap. she couldn't perceive the bear trap. She walked right into it. She's just been stuck there, and everybody can't. They're not strong enough to pull her out. So she's just.
I'm not gonna feel bad for you. I know you're trying to work up sympathy for your cause. I'm not gonna fall for it.
So
No, it's just ironic that perception is wisdom based, and she didn't perceive them the first go around.
So I guess we'll approach her, and Theros will just kind of kneel down in front of her, just trying to meet her at her level, and kind of call Volus up next to him, just kind of rest his arm on Volus, just trying to think over how he wants to approach speaking to her. And Nyari, are you okay? Are you all right? How are you feeling?
I don't feel right. I can't think. There's something in my head, and I feel like I'm stuck in a fog, and I don't know what's right or wrong anymore. I don't know what to do.
In the meantime, maybe it will help us understand your place better. We spoke to Veld about what you saw in those visions, but she could only give us a glimpse, an idea. What did you see? What happened?
There was a lot that happened. I saw the worst day of my life replayed over in my head. I watched my brother die right before me again. Something I never wanted to see happen. I saw my best friend try to kill herself. But then something stopped her. But I don't think that something was good. I saw someone I don't know, but I felt like I know something familiar about that person. There was an elvish woman who was walking in the aftermath of what happened at Ramgate, and there was something familiar about her, but I don't know her. And then I saw the shrine, the Kellid shrine, and I have this feeling that I have to go there to make Ilyka better. But it's so far, and I don't think I can do it alone. But I have to do it because she's all I have left.
I see. I am truly sorry for your loss. Do you know what you must do at this shrine? Do you have to bring Ilyka with you to this shrine?
Typically, that's what would happen with my people. If there was anyone who needed healing or restoration, we would go to different shrines, offer up sacrifices and rites and say prayers to Desna under the light of the stars. I think she would have to be there. But I don't know. I can hardly tell what these visions meant.
Is this something you must do now?
I don't know. But I have to do it at some point. You know, I only met you guys like a week ago, you know? I didn't really know you before. And the people here, I mean, they helped me. I owe them everything. But Ilyka is home. You see, I left on my own. And she and Severin came after me. And it was the best time of my life until that day when everything was taken away from me. And Severin died, and Ilyka left, and now she's been like this for years. And I've been searching for a way to make her better, and now I have a way to make her better. And it's just outside of my grasp.
Aiden will step in if possible, unless you're gonna take it, Tristan.
Well, I was just gonna, yeah. So Orin will speak up. Like, you're right. We saved her once in Phaendar. Can you trust that we will save her again? Just we have to take care of these people first. We have to find safety for these people first, and then I promise we'll take care of Ilyka.
I'm gonna play off that. Orin is right.
Yes, one for Orin is right. Yes.
You're all welcome. But no, for real.
Nyari, I cannot know your pain or what you have been through. And he'll kind of move closer to her a bit, and if she's sitting, he'll maybe take a seat, and he'll say, "But I know what loss is. And I have told you before that I will always trust you. So I will make you a promise. Like Orin said, we will save Ilyka again, and every time that you need us to. But first, we do have to take care of these people here now. I need you to trust me too. Please."
Theros will finish off with, I can't fully pretend to understand what it is you're feeling when you say she is your home. I have my father here, yes, but I've never really understood what it is you see in family, in one's home. I've wandered these woods across Nirmathas. I have Volus. He's my best friend, but I've never felt attached to anyone the way I see you look at Ilyka. The way Aiden speaks of his family that he lost. And I'm sure Orin has someone he cares for. That's something I've always longed for as well, and I stand with them in saying I will do what I can to make sure you are reunited with the Ilyka you once knew.
I know what she means when she says home. And Nyari, I know enough that you would do anything to get that back. I know enough. So please, just trust us, and we will take you to the shrine. But first, we have to get a place for these people and go to the caves.
I appreciate your words, but you're making promises you might not be able to keep. We all know tomorrow any one of us could die. Ilyka could die. Everyone could die. So the further we go away from the shrine is the further we go away from getting Ilyka back. And right now, I can't make a decision on what to do. So I will follow you, at least until I feel this fog leave my mind. But please do not ever make promises to me that you cannot keep.
Nyari, I am very careful about my words. I do not make a promise I cannot keep. I will take you to the shrine, whether or not you believe me. Let us go then now, to the caves first, and then we will tend to Nyari. But we must maintain together, or else there is no hope for any of us. I am learning that now. Freedom is paved by the way of great sacrifice of a small few. We are that few. So we fight for others. I will do that. And he's gonna go ready Jasper and get things to go.
You're a monster.
I was just
Please,
gonna say
don't
that.
you dare do that.
Please let me do one thing. Let me
I'm not
actually
gonna
do
lie.
one-
Give us one thing. Like, we all three made a promise. Let us keep one thing in this freaking path.
That would be really bad for everyone if that doesn't happen.
Seriously though, how funny would it be if like Nyari dies in the upcoming whatever? And then
Right.
it's like,
Oh man.
well, sorry, we made you a promise that we would take you, so we'll take your corpse there
We
and
have
hope
to take
that
Ilyka
that
ourselves.
satisfies.
Oh, I mean, I'll still take Ilyka just without you. Not sure what I'd do because I don't really know anything about barbarian religion, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was a good beat though, guys.
Orin's holding to it. As long as he's alive, we're gonna eventually
Well,
take Ilyka to.
And then you take Ilyka there and get her back to her right mind, and then you have to be like, by the way,
Wait.
your best friend Nyari is dead as well.
And then she
Yeah,
goes to
wow.
kill herself again.
Oh, no.
This happens
a
all
looping
over again.
cycle. It just can't
So
break.
horrible.
She's
Going to
living
kill
on a
herself,
farm
Gets possessed. Goes to
in
kill herself,
Kragadon
Gets possessed.
where she can run around with all the other barbarians. She's not dead. We sent her to a farm.
She crossed the Rainbow Bridge.
To rename
Yep,
the channel
yep.
mildly horrific.
Yeah,
So Jason, what are we doing now?
well, it's a brand new
Sounds-
day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the beginning of a new day. It
So we have full movement
sounds-
speed.
Yeah, it sounds like
Sounds
you
like
guys want to go to the cave.
Sounds like
Oh,
it, don't
boy.
it, guys?
Not really, but I
was
don't
gonna
have
say.
the wherewithal to be like, no.
Well, I was curious, Sarah. Like, what was going through your head as you're trying to play Nyari? I thought for sure you're just gonna be like, nah.
I did too.
Sorry- Sorry, guys.
But I think the
know it.
promise thing may have really worked in our
Right,
favor,
that's what I was
like,
wondering.
that all three of us were like, but we promised once these
We
people have a safe
each
place,
aided in
all
our
three of us will
diplomacy.
go with you
Right.
to save
Yeah.
Ilyka. I promise.
So what was
Yeah.
going on through your head or Nyari's head in that moment that led to this decision? Because it was very against what I thought you were gonna do.
Yeah, so it's again, I've been reading this forum post about what different people say, happens with like wisdom damage or wisdom drain. And one of the things that somebody said is that you definitely have an inability to perceive things properly. So they said a character can go indecisive or, in quotes, I can't figure out if this is a good or bad thing to do, so I'll spend more time trying to figure it out. Or they can go impulsive and say, I don't see any downsides to this. I'm just going to go. So I was playing it more the former.
Yeah,
and be
because I
like,
definitely thought you were gonna be impulsive and just
yeah,
go.
and it's hard because she could be, she really could be, and so I'm struggling with it. But I think that like she understands with the amount of wisdom damage that she has, like she understands something isn't right, so she knows enough not to trust herself, I guess. But I mean, at any point she might.
Isn't that technically a wise position?
Maybe
It's
it's
okay,
very
guys.
possible.
From now on, I'm gonna train augury every day, and every day I'll just be like, "Is this the right thing to do?" and hopefully get a good answer
From Torag.
from Torag.
Of course, I'm not sure he cares about the plights of man. Apparently,
He
doesn't.
doesn't. I'm sorry, he doesn't.
He doesn't. Not at all. Yeah.
We're dwarves.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Moving right along.
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I probably went the wrong way with it, but
No, I don't think so at all. I
for the
think the role
purposes
play,
of the story, like, I don't know.
because like I totally thought you were gonna be off, but I can also see that like that conversation might have gotten through to her, depending. So that's
At least enough to convince her to be like, "Hey, can we just like have a day to at least try the caves?"
right.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, like, if you guys hadn't talked to her, she probably would have gone off on her
She'd be
own.
like, "Peace."
But she knows from experience that, you know, the collective, we go with the collective. And if you guys are telling her, you know, this is not a good idea to do, I don't think she's going to be like, well, too bad, I'm doing it anyway. Like, I think she trusts you guys enough that if you tell her we need to do this first and then we'll do this, and to your point, like the fact that you promised her that you would do it, that's, you know, that was kind of the nail in
Question,
the coffin.
Jason. Would restoration lesser help remove some of her wisdom
Absolutely.
issues?
Yep.
1d4 per casting.
Yep.
So that will be one of my prepared spells for this day, and I'll use it on Nyari if she's open to it.
Auburn can cast. Oof.
Man,
We got him choked up. Yes.
Auburn can cast it as well, but she's been casting it on the sick guy this whole time.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't think she should stop doing that because he will literally die.
He will literally die. Obviously, we give them the antitoxins and all
Was-
that. We go
would-
talk to the lady, the girl, the what's her face? You
Would
know.
Nyari allow Orin to cast restoration lesser on her?
Yeah, I mean, she trusts you, and you've never done anything that was going to hurt her. So
Yeah, don't cast restoration lesser unless it's consensual.
Right. You get 2 of them back.
Okay. She now only has 4 wisdom damage.
Yeah, so you're not that unwise. You're just normal amount of unwise. You're basically back to regular old Nyari.
yeah,
Yep, sounds right.
that sounds about right.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and take our rolls. We're gonna head up to them caves. We're gonna clear them out.
Just
Okay.
like that. Just
Yeah.
no resistance. Just
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say,
can-
are we taking a diplomatic approach? Are we taking some of the warriors with us? Because I thought about that.
killed
Not
2 of them.
what I say?
We already killed 2 of them.
We did not kill. Oh, of them, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But we could still kind of like.
I don't know how troglodytes operate. I don't really know anything about them.
Me neither, because I don't have knowledge local. So
We
I
know
don't
they
ex- I think
stank.
that's about
Yeah.
Yeah, they stanky. That's about all I know.
Right, but I'm starting to think of like what's a realistic like we are about to approach an enemy encampment. You know what I mean? So like I'm not sure that we just go with the 4 of us. I'm not sure that's a realistic thing that people would do unless they were attempting diplomacy. And if they weren't attempting diplomacy, wouldn't you take most of the able-bodied individuals that can hold any kind of weapon? You know? I wonder about that.
Certainly would make NPC actions more interesting.
So what's your plan? That we're gonna convince them to let us live with them in their filth hole?
Well, that's why I think we should probably go more.
Like I don't want to kill them, but like I'm just trying to understand the direction here.
Well, that's why I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I don't think diplomacy is a realistic option. So
We can't speak
Yeah.
their language. We don't know their
Can't
intentions.
speak their language. I don't think we could cohabitate with them if just being near them outside in the woods makes us violently ill. I don't think we could live in a cave with them.
Are we going to be able
Right.
to live in a cave that's been inhabited by them? That's going to stink
Well-
pretty bad too.
well,
We can
Right.
clean it.
are we gonna hit them? Are we gonna kill them? It just seems a little rough to kill someone for a place to live when really.
Gee, it's almost like
yeah.
we've done that every session so far. Killed
We
the
didn't kill the
dire
old
wolf-
lady.
dire
We did
Wolverine.
not kill Veld, even
We
though
didn't kill Veld.
there were a
Because we
couple
couldn't
close.
use her.
I mean,
in a
twice.
honestly-
few of alternate realities. There is a world where I did kill Veld for sure. Like 100%. There is a universe where Aiden chops her head off.
I mean, I'm the whole time though, when you were almost going to like fight her, I was like, I'm just not sure what level she is, and if you even could.
Right.
No,
And
I don't
even
think.
with 4 of us, I don't know. Oh my!
Nope, doesn't matter because I don't metagame, Sarah. So
I'm not metagaming, but she was doing a lot of stuff without much resistance from you, and
she did do a lot of stuff. She is an actual witch. I do know that much. I'm pretty sure because the hex was added was higher than it should have been. Or not the hex.
So I would say if we were able to communicate with them, and we had not already had a very poor encounter with them, diplomacy would be the way we would go for sure. But I don't really know what options are available to us.
honestly, I mean, this is metagaming 100%, but the fact that we saw them send some sort of messenger bird, that's my assumption, probably saying, hey, there are these 4 humanoids that
Right.
killed us coming your way. I don't
Right.
think there's any chance of anything diplomatic.
I
Right.
concur with that. So that
That's
is
what I'm saying.
why
Without that inner like that altercation,
Mhm.
I think diplomacy would have been the way we probably could have gone. Like if we had just
Right.
showed up at the cave one day out of the blue, maybe we could have tried. But I don't think at this point, like we already killed 2 of them.
Right. So maybe we do go like ready to fight.
Murder an entire village of troglodytes.
That's what we've done. We went to the White's house, just killed him in cold blood. Went to
don't know.
the farmhouse, killed all those bees, cold blood.
Dire
Jason,
Wolverine.
Jason, make me feel better. Do we know if troglodytes are evil by nature?
They're not.
None of you have
Oh.
knowledge local.
I don't think they are though. I don't think
Oh.
they are.
That doesn't make me happy.
We're about to
I'm-
commit war crimes to save
We're about to-
26
To
humans.
be fair, they attacked first.
To be fair, they attacked first.
It's true.
Everything changed
We
the day
could
the troglodytes attacked.
we could always go to the Kellett Shrine first, and then maybe along the
Oh
way
yeah,
we'll get a reason to just outright kill all these innocent troglodytes.
that's
While we're
rich.
gone, the troglodytes
Oh
march on the cabin
God.
and kill everybody.
I don't think I
No,
could eat
no.
dessert for a month.
What's
That
down
was
here
rich.
again?
We could see troglodytes at the shrine killing children, and then we'd be like, "Oh, they're bad. Let's just go kill their entire community."
Now you're reaching. Now
I was
you're
gonna say
reaching.
that is a stretch.
Jason, what
That
was
is
this
a
again?
Have you
stretch.
been reading my notes?
Right? So they're
So-
they're at the shrine, which is a solid how many miles away from us and away from their home, murdering children.
So I definitely think that we go and confront them. That happens. Done. Decision made. Are we in agreement on that?
Yeah, Sarah's
Yeah.
over here like we send the 2 children to the troglodyte cave, we see what happens,
Next
and then
order of
based on what happens, we then attack the troglodytes and we kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Because if the kids kill the troglodytes, we now know that they are evil demonic beings that we should then kill. And if the troglodytes kill the children, then we have justification for war. It's
Are
perfect.
we
Foolproof.
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 are
Foolproof
we
plan.
going ourselves or are we taking people with us? Some
Well,
of the warriors.
so-
Benefit of people, is it a bluff kind of thing? Like,
Who knows? I just think I wonder about that. Like the people are just sitting around, the warriors are just getting food. We can have them keep doing that, but what do 4 people realistically do against an entire settlement? You know what I mean?
But also
we're
bear in
assuming
mind,
it's a settlement.
the warriors I'm imagining in the camp do not have armor.
No,
And
no,
they
no,
probably
no, no,
don't
no,
have
no.
even great weapons. Plus, all
Not
of
at
the
all.
warriors right now are taking care of the animals, so we lose that entire NPC action economy that we have to reroute to somebody else that can take care of our herd.
Right.
And plus, if our whole goal is keeping these people safe, I don't think taking some people to the enemy's lair is like a super smart decision. But of course, Nyari would be like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it. Let's take everybody and go to the caves." It sounds like a great idea.
Well, I hear all of that, except that like there's a difference between like an adventure story and like the fact that if you did have a group of survivors and you had to actually fight another group, you would need everyone. You know what I mean?
Like that's the only angle that I'm coming at. Obviously, we would lose the NPC actions, which I think from the game sense is not a good choice at all. But yeah, maybe we just go with the 4 of us. I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe we can really kick some troglodyte butt.
I mean, at this point, it
would
should
have-
be clear the difference in ability between us and everyone else in the camp. Like, if you think about us and what we're able to accomplish versus them, like, we're definitely the heroic.
Yeah, and
whereas
listen,
they're
they
going to
may-
get hit they're going to die in one hit.
They may have an army, but we have a Volus, so it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
We do have a Volus.
We have a
So
Volus.
we'll go to where we were past. How many movement do we have, Jace?
You have 20 movement if you succeed your fortitude save.
All right, let me go ahead and take them. I need 2 fortitude saves, right?
Yeah.
And these are at a +4 too, right?
Yes, because of
So
your
Fortitude
feet.
saves for?
No, not you, me. Add 4 to this.
Oh.
That's
Okay,
fine. That's fine.
Got them both. Okay, because so you have the boost of striding, right, which gives you a higher base movement speed, and everyone else
Yeah.
can move that fast. I still can't because of my armor. So what we're doing is I'm actually rolling for a forced march, which
Oh, okay.
so it means I'm going further for a longer duration than I would normally be comfortable with, and we are smudging the rule systems together to just say he can keep pace as part
Right.
of the.
So that we don't lose those like extra
Right.
movement tiles. Okay, that
Right.
makes sense.
Where technically the rule set would mean I could just go for longer. We're just saying like he can keep pace, and I have to roll 2 fortitude saves to keep up.
So you have 20 hexes of movement. You just used 3 to get to where you are, so you have
Yep.
17 left. And these
So-
unexplored ones will cost 2.
I think we should go down this way first.
Oh
Yeah, I
really?
bet you do. I bet you do. I bet
Oh,
you do
yeah,
believe we should go down.
I'm
We should
just
go south
following your
first.
trail, and you're like all the way down.
It's
Sarah's
possible.
like, well,
you
you know, we
could-
could probably just go all the way down to like
Alright.
here and explore, right, guys? Like, it's fine.
Here's my
Fine.
proposed path, just like that. Y'all see it?
Nope.
Nope.
No,
No.
How
Oh, there we
There
go.
we go.
There you
totally
go.
cool with that. Yep.
All right,
that
so that's
works.
what we'll do. I'll let you reveal the hexes, Jace.
Yep. 1 second.
Also, I do have to say, as a player, I'm super intrigued by the plains because we really didn't get to explore anything in the
True.
plains.
Yeah.
Sure you are,
And
Sarah. You
I
just probably
think-
everything about you wants to go
Well,
south.
no, I'm just thinking. I think Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but the plains are different movement speed. Like we
Yes.
can zoom around the plains, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because the few that we did, we got like you get like what like we got 2 extra hexes every time we moved because of how far we could see or something like that.
Yeah, you basically you can move through unexplored plane tiles at no penalty, and you can also see 2 hexes away at any given time. So you explore planes super fast.
Hmm.
All right.
Like,
so,
I'm all for it. From Oren's perspective, he's
Yeah.
so sick of bumbling around this forest with 26 people. Like,
I-
he just wants a place that they can stay and then not have to worry if he's gone for 2 days that they're all going to get murdered horribly by something.
right, absolutely. For all the things
I get the feeling that
My
that's
fear
not
as
gonna
a
stop.
player, and this is, I'm not swaying anybody's decision or anything, but I have a feeling that these caves are going to turn into something bigger,
Oh,
and we're just never going to get back to this.
100%. Do you want to know what's gonna happen? The caves are actually, this will be the catalyst to start the next book. Like, there's nothing. It's
That's what
like,
I'm
listen,
afraid of.
Also, dwarves just love caves, so I'm like, caves? Yeah, let's go. That's cool.
Well, yeah, you were caves. You were on board with the caves when Lord
Like
told
the
us about the caves.
second we learned
Yeah.
about him, I was
Yeah,
like,
all the
caves,
way back.
caves?
you're like,
Caves.
yeah, no,
caves are
caves.
where we go because that's
Good.
dwarf stuff. Caves.
Let's go kill the troglodytes and take the caves. You said that before they did anything wrong. You said that all the way back there. It was great.
Let's just go kill. Well, back then they were lizard folk. I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
what
I mean,
troglodytes
yeah,
were
because
lizard
that's
folk.
different. Lizard folk. It's
Jason's
okay to be
gonna-
racist against them.
Jason's gonna make it easy on us, and we approach the caves and see an Iron Fang flag like flying out front. We're like,
Well, I
yeah,
wonder
okay,
about that.
perfect.
Oh man, now I'm saying it too in my regular speech. No, but I do think that there will be like he'll be like, hey guys, there's a million
troglodytes that you see, and you get the very clear sense there's no way you can attack this. I'm sorry you wasted 40 minutes of roleplay.
Roleplay.
Go
Now
down.
go to the shrine.
Go
Go to the shrine. Now these have all been explored, right? So we can just cut straight down. Like we don't even have to go through. These have all been explored. We'll skirt the edge of the forest. Man, we could probably make it to like right here.
Yeah,
Hey,
movement.
Guys, we could wipe out this innocent goblin tribe as well.
Excellent, excellent.
Let's just
Innocent
kill everything.
goblin
You know, we
tribe.
want to get all of that good XP before we leave this area.
At least none of us are happy about the decisions that we have. At least none of us are like, yeah, murder the troglodytes. We're all kind of like, oh man, I don't feel good.
What
about
racial genocide?
You know what it reminds me of?
Yeah, right.
It reminds me of the video game This War of Mine, where you're playing it and you have these three characters, and there's one thing that'll happen. Somebody will get sick sometime, like just randomly, but at some point someone will get sick and you'll need medicine to take care of them. And then you'll start scavenging for medicine, and it's so hard to come by. The only supply that you can find is this like really old, sweet elderly couple that have the medicine that you need. And it's like, no, you will lose the game if you don't rob it from them, right? Like that character will die. You 3 survivors, and you need to have them survive. That character will die if you don't take this. And I remember playing that game and been like, I'm not going to steal that. I can't do it. So I left. And then he got too sick. My other guy got sick and had to take care of, because he was taking care of him. And then we all died and got shut up by bandits. And it's like, hey, man, if you could just stolen that medicine.
Well, Jason, steal our medicine and let us know what's happening here in this game.
Okay, so you guys go through the forest and you're going through this new trail. And you eventually get to where you would think the map is marking, and you see that there is kind of an area where there are a couple caves, but most of them are very, very small, not enough to really have anything live there. Everybody roll a perception check or aid on one perception check, however you want to do it.
I don't know if I should still make these rolls.
Don't distract me, Nyari. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be negative. Don't distract us.
Okay, all right. So that fits with my vision of what's. I did.
Okay.
So probably made another kinding joke,
right?
100%.
Only Aiden notices this.
Holy cow!
You're going through all these different caves, and Aiden, you're looking, and you get to a spot.
We're in the caves now.
No, you're looking through. There's a bunch of caves around. Most of them are too small, so you're kind of looking through all these caves from the outside, and you follow along this kind of semi-cliff face, and there are vines everywhere, and they're very thick vines, and most of you are walking past them, just not really giving it any thought. But Aiden, you're kind of looking at them very closely, and you see them rustle ever so slightly, and you kind of go up and you put your hand and you pull back, and you can see as you pull back on these vines, light from behind goes into a cave that is completely obscured by these thick hanging roots that the other 3 didn't notice at all. But with your very good perception roll just then, you notice this cave opening. And the moment that you pull back on these vines and you let the light shine into this cave, you hear a blood-curdling scream.
They attacked first. Easy.
And that's where we'll end it.
Oh, I knew he was going to do it too. I knew he was going to do it.
Can't we ever have a session where we just feel good at the end about what we're doing? Because I don't feel good.
Oh no! Just wait. Jason's gonna be like, "Oh, after you guys kill all the adult troglodytes, you find a hatchling. You find the hatchlings, and there's 6 baby troglodytes. What do you do with them?"
We even killed the younglings.
Yeah, I will say, you would notice right away that this scream definitely didn't sound like a troglodyte scream or a humanoid scream at all.
Oh no!
It's a banshee.
It was like just this piercing scream, but it didn't sound like any scream you've heard before.
Would you say it was like a magical ear-piercing scream?
No, it wasn't magical.
Not quite that ear piercing.
It's not the spell ear-piercing scream.
You can roll a knowledge nature to see if you can get an idea of what it is.
Yeah, I'll roll a knowledge nature to end the sesh.
Nope.
Nope.
Do I get my favorite enemy?
No.
That's too bad.
I mean, 26 is pretty good.
That's pretty darn good.
I was gonna say DC 25.
Watch Jason whisper it to Andrew, and then the rest of us are in suspense all week long.
Sounds
I
like a
just
good
gave him
idea.
that idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. Let me
Sarah,
do
there's
that
this
here.
old adage called "never give the DM ideas."
I, as a player, never possessed.
FYI, Jason,
profess
it
to
will
have
show up
high
in the
wisdom.
stream if you're going to whisper it.
Yeah,
to
I know.
Okay.
I know.
It's fine. I'll watch it later.
All right, zoom in.
I'll just
I
end the stream
spelled
before
that
it goes.
wrong. Well, I'm not gonna respell it. We'll just use
300
that.
mites pour from the caves.
It's like World War Z, but
Oh,
with mice.
interesting.
Let the punting begin.
Oh man, if it was a bunch of mites, I'd have a field day.
Dude, that would be so fun. Like, just like 100 mites versus 4 level 5s or something like that.
Oh my
Like,
gosh. Yeah.
This one, there's actually a way you can challenge CRs. It's called like Kobold Death Battle Arena or something like that, where you can just
That's
take
fun.
any character and benchmark them by how many kobolds they could kill. It's pretty good.
Okay. Well, I think we all know what we'll be getting into next. Actually, yeah. Let me just put you on this map here real quick.
Oh,
I
great.
know exactly what I'm going to be doing. Going and checking the stream right away and seeing what it was.
See, I almost don't want to know. Okay, we're down here. Okay. This is a pretty big map. It's a pretty
It's
big map.
the biggest map that you've had so far, I think. Well, apart from the Phaendar map, because that had like 7 maps in one.
I mean, the
Right.
hex map technically is bigger.
This is the biggest single grid map that you've.
Mm.
gotten
There you
to so
go.
far.
Did that dire wolf owe us a favor? Like, could we have called that in? I'm kidding.
Yeah, right.
Good fun, gentlemen and Sarah.
Next week.
If Nyari dies next time.
I say, how is everyone's emotional state after that one? Do you guys think?
I'm good. I'm fine.
I'm good. I'm Genki. I'm so
You
happy.
guys all got what you wanted, so you should all just be super happy.
I don't know, Sarah.
Honestly,
Listen here, blood ritual, okay?
Yeah, I was gonna
How much
say.
did you
Dio
pay
already
for that
got in
blood
her
ritual?
way.
blood
We
for
still
the
don't
blood
know what
god.
you paid for it.
It didn't come
You
up.
got
but
it
I
down
had
to a 1d2. That means you paid a pretty good price for us to do that blood ritual.
Yeah, so like I had it written down. Like you got your way in Phaendar, you got your way with the wolves, you got your way with like so many things. I had this big list that Aiden was gonna like storm through. But it
He
never
was
came up.
prepared.
Okay. First off, Orin
you
was
got
the
wolves.
one who went after the wolves first. So don't even go putting that on Nyari, because
That is
She
fair.
got her
The
way.
wolves were my
She got her
fault.
way. To be fair, it was
I mean, she was gonna do it anyway, but he just
Honestly,
Right,
if
right.
Nyari was gonna be convinced to go down, was gonna have Theros be like so conflicted about it that he would decide to go with them, with her and Ilyka down, so it would have split even more.
Oh my
It would have
god!
been
Same.
Aiden and
Same. So actually, if you had decided that you were forcibly gonna go with Ilyka, Orin was gonna be like, "What's one more day, I guess, of them at the cabin?"
Look
Like,
at
he was
Josh.
gonna give in. He
I
was
hate
gonna
you
give
guys
in.
so much. I hate you guys so much.
No, you guys are
But
all
that's
Don't
how we
tell me
played it
this.
out. That's how
I
we
hate
played it
that.
out. Yo,
Oh, I hate that, Jason.
No.
We have to retcon the last
No.
45 minutes.
No.
I've got to got to play my character actually having low
played-
wisdom.
That's
we
so
played
funny.
Nyari like a fiddle.
It was so funny because as Andrew was saying that, I was like, okay, well, I'd probably still go if it was at least Orin and me.
Yep.
And then Orin was like, no, I'd leave too. I was like,
Yep.
oh gosh, dang it.
Oh,
I didn't
she
even do-
seriously pushed the issue. Like nothing you guys could say would possibly change her mind. I was gonna be like, well, I'm not gonna let her just commit
Oh.
suicide. That's not okay.
Aiden would have been so mad.
Jeez,
Oh, that would have been so
stop
fun.
that.
Oh no!
I was so
I'm
mad at
stopping
you,
the stream
Jason,
before
like,
it
you
gets too dangerous.
personally. When you hit me with that forgetful stuff, I was like,
I knew
was
you weren't
like-
gonna like that.
I was like, I had prepped a conversation to have
Thanos
with
just did
Bell. Like I had all this ready to go. I had literally just, holy cow, just gone back and listened to the thing, and I was like, I know how I'm gonna handle
We're
this.
goners.
And it's just like, no, you don't know how you're gonna handle this, Josh. You don't know anything. You don't know how any